everybody to the first round of Norway chess. Apologies for this lengthy break, the usual teething problems, the wonderful world of bandwidth, which live stream provider, are the computers fast enough, are the journalists stealing all our internet? I believe all of these things are happening, but we hope you can see and hear us now. I'm Gustafsson, this is Peter Svidler. We're covering the games of the very best in the world, I think is not a stretch to say. Peter, which game has caught your attention?
I think the Carlsen Hare Krishna game has developed quite a bit since we last discussed it, and I think the local audience will be delighted to see these developments, because I think
they can't see us. We're geo-blocked in Norway, so let's ignore Carlsen.
Yeah, but jokes aside, I think Magnus is now quite seriously better, and I have a feeling that Harry may have underestimated bishop e3 a little bit here, because it's a very sneaky move and a very unpleasant move to be facing right now, and I like White's position a great deal here.
I think the whole opening has been a disaster for her. He was surprised by this queen a4 stuff, and yeah, here you are strategically worse. The opponent has two bishops. And queen b6 you were very critical of, huh?
Not that critical, but I felt that maybe this was slightly over-ambitious, because I understand his desire to develop the b8, knight to c6 as early as possible, but his whole queenside setup does feel a little bit shaky, and Magnus is now trying to exploit it very actively.
We're dealing with a new threat over here, not just technical issues, there's also the very noisy people from Norwegian TV who sometimes hijack our own show, and they're already eyeing us. I'm a little worried they might crash the show any minute, so prepare for drama over here. In the meantime, do we have any other drama? Levon Aronian, is he better against Topalov?
No, I don't believe he is. I think this is very balanced, and generally the moment black manages to, as we were discussing, the moment knight d4 happens, black's life becomes much easier. An additional two pairs of light pieces came off since we last visited this game, and with only the knight on e4 against the bishop on e7, I think black should be perfectly fine here.
Can you get rid of that knight? You don't really want to go f5 unless it's good, right?
Not without proper preparation. But the thing is, white structure seems better, and at first glance you feel that something like queen b3 followed by a4 and b5 could be an interesting idea. But the pawn on e2, if the knight ever has to, if black manages to drive the knight away from e4, will be an issue. And generally black can, for instance, play something like queen d7, rook a d8 and queen d5, and black's position is very solid here.
Yeah, so not a lot of action. Let's see if we get any visitors over here soon, because Vladimir Kramnik, he got rid of the queens. Is he really better, or does he just want a quiet day at the office?
I was wondering when we were growing up, and in the old Soviet Union, there was an article in the 64 magazine which was titled, loosely, translating it loosely, was titled in a kind of as a recommendation, play endgames against youth. And I think this is what he's doing here, sort of on purpose. I think one thing Niels is very famous for is his attacking chess and his approach to chess as a swashbuckling game of I'm probably mispronouncing that, and there will not be a lot of swashbuckling here.
I have no idea what that word is, but it doesn't look all that exciting.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, and I think black is not really doing that badly here, but Niels probably is not very happy about having to play this position against Vladimir, and this maybe influenced Vladimir's choice quite a bit here, because he is making his opponent play the type of position he definitely doesn't enjoy as much as the other stuff, let's put it like this.
That's what these old grandmasters like to do, go for a slightly better endgame, grind it out. And white is slightly better, right? Knight e5 is coming, you can't really contest the c-file because there's always bishop a6 apparently.
It's a bit awkward, although you can maybe take and go bishop c8 or maybe knight e8 covering the c7 square first, but yeah, it's not particularly pleasant, and you never completely equalize. White will put the knight on e5. Right now bishop a4 is a decent reply to this, but yeah.
In general, yes. Some small pressure, probably. Kramnik is enjoying himself quite a bit. Yeah?
Definitely, yeah. And also there's quite clearly only two results possible here. White, has a slightly, seriously superior bishop and slightly more active pieces apart from the bishop on d3 compared to the bishop on d7, and is currently in control of the c-file. So yeah.
We're getting visitors. What's going on here?
Sorry for interrupting, guys.
Anytime.
Beside you?
Sure.
All right, so we
We're
have
just hanging out.
Svidler, great chess player, and we have Gustafsson, also a
Great
great
introduction.
chess player.
Okay, saved it.
How's it going?
Some technical issues, but we're enjoying the tournament and we're trying to do it justice by commenting on it. But having fun apart from the parts where things break down.
We know all about that. We are, of course, following Magnus's game closely, but in what game do you think it's most action right now?
It's not really that action-packed yet, is it? Like Kramnik, we were just talking about, he's playing old man's chess, he exchanged the queens. Magnus, I believe, won the opening. He's better, he has the two bishops. Hare Krishna, under a lot of pressure. And else, what do we have? This Li Chao game we haven't visited for a while, that might be heating up. Do you guys know anything about Li Chao? We haven't done our research, like... He's a last-minute replacement. Can anybody tell us anything about him?
All I know is that he had to cancel the last part of his wedding.
That's an interesting...
The saying yes part? Or which one is that?
I think in China they divide the wedding up in 4 parts or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
There will have to be some research done on this subject, I guess. Yeah.
Definitely.
And the Magnus's game looks very interesting, and there's also great potential, I think, for a very interesting fight in the Giri Ilyanov game, which the position could get very, very sharp. But currently, the one game where you can definitely say who is better is Magnus's game. I think Magnus is quite seriously better right now.
We have quite a few interesting players in this Norway chess. Quite a few that we haven't seen before in this very top level. Do you think it's going to be an interesting Norway chess?
I'm sure it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, to use a word again, to see how the newcomers deal with it, because the big stage, if you're used to open tournaments, a guy like Niels Grandelius is sitting there playing black against Kramnik. Also other guys like Hare Krishna, Ilyanov to a lesser extent, and Li Chao. We haven't seen that much in these tournaments. So it's good to see some new faces and not like Peter Svidler or whatever again.
Yeah, who wants that?
Who wants that? Well, do you think Magnus Carlsen can finally win it?
If you pose the question in this fashion, of course he can. Will he? I don't know, but can he? Of course he can.
Who do you think is going to win, Jan?
We have a saying in German, 4 times a charm, so I believe this is his time.
4 ganger altså det som skal til for at Magnus Carlsen vinner Norway Chess, sier han Gustafsson I hvert fall, så da håper vi det stemmer.
Okay.
Hey world!
Thank you so much for visiting.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm going to let you guys
Anytime.
get back to it. Go Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, clearly.
Go Anish Giri.
Yeah, clearly non-partisan stuff here, and what shall we? Yeah, this is an interesting position, and we mentioned this plan of bringing the bishop over to g6 from c8, and this is what happened. And yeah, these are very, very curious positions to figure out, because I tend to sort of instinctively, I would probably prefer to be black here, because
really?
Yeah, knight h5, knight f4, queen to f6. I feel like I have something on the king side. I will, maybe give mate eventually. But
I like black. I like white, because pawns never move back. You were forced to go g5.
I appreciate that, and the few times I had this in practice, it turned out to be much less attractive for black than I started off thinking. So it probably is just an optical thing with me, because I tend to just instinctively, I feel that I don't get positions as interesting and as promising as black very often. So I feel
should start playing the Berlin.
Yeah, that's the solution to all of my life's problems. But
so what do we have now? 93 looks kind of normal.
Something
do you
like
take this guy, or is that off the table?
No, it's not off the table, but I don't know if you do it immediately. I don't know if anything is actually threatened here that you need to react to it so drastically. So,
normal maneuvers would be some knight h2, knight g4, queen f3, whatever, right?
Yeah, sure. And yeah, it kind of depends on the tempo, because with let's say with black to move in the current position, I do feel that maybe black has enough time to to establish some sort of a stranglehold on the king's side. Maybe that's a too strong a word, but some semblance of control with knight h4, knight h5, knight f4. But after knight e3, maybe you're not fast enough, because here bishop h2, knight f4 already, things might start hanging. Yeah,
do something, but maybe it all works. So sharpish. It's deceptively sharp, right? It looks like a quiet Italian, but the price of a move can be very high here.
Yeah, this game I think has the highest potential for let's say time trouble mayhem in an hour and a half or so. What else have we got? We got the Petrov.
We should revisit MVL against Li Chao, because there was a decision, we were talking about it in the break, that was a bit curious to push d6, d5 here, which looks natural, but it allows white to go for knight to d4, and now you can no longer parry it with the standard takes and c5, because I guess we just take, right?
Yeah, the e5 square becomes available to the queen, and the queen is no longer caught on g7, which is an important detail here. So yeah, knight d4, MVL of course played knight d4 more or less straight away, and Li Chao showed that now he is reasonably happy with giving up the other bishop. Normally black ends up exchanging the dark square bishops for this knight, but here white can take on e6 if he wants, but it's not particularly promising, because especially with the king on b2, this is the one negative side of playing b3, king b2 in this line, because with the king on b1 I would probably be reasonably happy with white here.
Yeah, you can push c4.
Yeah. If you imagine the same position with the king on b1 and the pawn, let's say, on a3 and b2,
that's too much.
Yeah, you definitely feel quite happy with white. But with the king on b2 and the pawn on b3, this is not really that attractive, because the long diagonal could become an issue later on.
So MVL didn't take, he went f4, just seizing control over this square.
Mainly I think just gaining space, preparing bishop f3 next move, because it rules out knight e5 as a reply to bishop f3. So
White takes, he's still under a bit of pressure, right? Bishop takes. I was wondering about this and whatever, f6, or I'm not sure if f6 or g6.
Probably g6, but
G6,
it's not, with the pawn on d5, it's not particularly attractive. I mean, it might be okay, but after bishop f3, you are under some pressure here. Although, I mean, black's position, of course, is extremely solid, and making any kind of progress with white will not be easy here.
So MVL putting a bit of pressure. In general, I wrote a preview a long time ago, and I was claiming that MVL, to my mind, is one of the top favorites in this event. Would you agree with that, or is it, of course, it's random guesswork, but do you think he can win such a tournament?
Sure. I rate him very, very highly, and he's been a very stable participant of these events for a while now, but perhaps winning one of them and will be,
Yeah, he hasn't done that yet, has he?
Yeah, I think he hasn't, and he definitely has the potential to win one of these things, and perhaps this is his time. We'll see. But as you mentioned, he is incredibly well prepared. Plays more or less every opening known to man. He is a very proficient e4 player. Can also play closed openings very well, and has a very interesting, varied repertoire with black. And
I feel like playing this, what's it called, Grand Chess Tour last year really helped him, because it was 30 games against the best of the best, and he started doing better and better as the events went on. I feel he's arrived as a contender for the biggest tournaments.
Sure. So Magnus's game is still in the same spot we've discussed some minutes ago. Black is in some trouble here. It's not panic stations yet, but it's not a pleasant position to have against Magnus.
Promise b4 is a threat,
yeah.
And if you try to get rid of this bishop, there is this little trick. White seems to just pick up a pawn, because a queen will get back out.
Yeah, this is really bad for black, obviously, and black will need to show some resolve and also a lot of tactical awareness here, because I think you kind of need to calculate deeply and precisely here to avoid drifting into a very bad position. Because let's say if you play d6, which seems like a normal kind of a developing move, and allow b4, this might be already too late.
This could be
because
nice threats. B5,
b5, b takes
rook
c5.
d1.
Yeah, there's
here, just this.
Yeah, things go really bad really fast for black here if he's not precise. So he will have to be very, very careful here.
So he shouldn't be in a hurry here, but should take a lengthy time out and try to work his way through it.
Yeah, and he's doing that. According to our counter, he's been thinking for something like maybe 20 minutes already, and it's perfectly justified to take this amount of time here because it's a huge, big decision, and it will impact what happens later in the game a great deal.
But is there a good defense? It's also a question, because after any normal move, like b4 is always coming, right? And here, at least it's a double attack. Looks good.
Yeah.
There is some madness. I checked with a computer cheater that I am like this, and maybe you survive, but this is not an easy thing to rely on.
Yeah, first of all, you have to see it from some way off, because if you don't see bishop b3, you just don't play rook a b8, because then rook a b8 doesn't make any sense. So you need to see this and trust in your calculation and evaluation from some way off, and also, despite this not losing on the spot, it's still not a very pleasant position to get. So
even if you get this, let's make the dumbest moves. White is still a bit better, right? Like two bishops, the
definitely,
d6 clear. But yeah, gotta do what you gotta do. Not a pleasant start to the tournament for Pentala Hare Krishna.
not particularly, yeah.
Then again, he's a very tough defender. He's used to getting into, well, trouble is too strong, but I've seen his game against Vichy in the Bundesliga, for example, which looked very unpleasant, but he just held with his left-handed fella.
He is extremely resilient and very very good defender, but yeah, he will have to draw on all of his reserves there because this is.
And you could also imagine a more pleasant start to your first super tournament in a while than black against Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, that is true. He wasn't
white against Magnus Carlsen.
He wasn't really dealt a particularly relaxing hand in terms of pairings in this tournament. And also he will have two blacks in a row.
Ooh.
It's less relevant today, but it will be relevant tomorrow. After playing black against Magnus, he will be black against who is playing? Yeah, let me briefly check.
I can find out.
Come on, I can tell you.
He'll
He'll be black against Stanish tomorrow.
Incorrect.
No?
He's black against Elyanov tomorrow.
Ah, yeah, sure. Yeah, I malfunction there.
Those things happen. Is Grandelius functioning properly?
Well, he completed the transfer of this knight from c6 to d6, but I think perhaps wasting 2 tempi after king e2 on doing that was a little bit too optimistic. No, optimistic is what I was going for, because if now after knight d6, if white plays b3 here, you don't really have a very comfortable response.
So he wants to go here to get rid of these bishops?
Yeah, he probably at least wants to change a pair of bishops, but now after takes a4, you completely lose control over the c-file.
White rook just doubles with tempo?
Yeah, rook c6, rook hc1, and you can no longer really fight this.
But don't have an eternal knight on e4. But yeah, c-file matters more.
Without the c-file, you will probably not enjoy this position very much. Perhaps, there's an argument to be made after rook c6 for going, you can't actually do that. I was planning to go, you have to start with rook fg8 and then knight f8 and f6. But still, let's say rook hc1, knight e8. Yes, white currently has no sort of entrance squares on the c-file apart from c6.
Passive.
Yeah, but it's still not going to be particularly enjoyable to be trying to be defending this position against Vladimir for the next 3-4 hours.
Yeah, well, you can always shorten your suffering, but I don't think that's his idea.
No.
So it looks like the players with the white pieces, unsurprisingly, because they're also the higher rated players, are pushing quite a bit here, right? Kramnik is better, Magnus is better, MVL must be a little better.
Yeah.
And Anish Giri just played a very deep move. I saw something went to h2, and I thought it must have been the knight because that's a typical maneuver, but it was the bishop. Bishop h2.
He's sidestepping the knight h5 ideas, and also maybe in some positions you can. It looks weird though. I'm thinking if in some position just playing g4, completely freezing those two pieces in place on g6 and f6 could be a move, but.
You're also freezing your own people.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is such a great idea, but maybe there are some conditions under which it could be considered.
Can you go g4 or is that suicide?
Knight h4 I thought, but maybe then knight bishop h5 could be good. Queen d2.
Yeah, this looks horrible.
Yeah, I think
countered.
G4 needs to be justified very, very carefully here because it could, completely ruin black's position.
So what does black want in general? Normally you want king g7, knight out of the way, and either f5
Yeah.
or knight to f4 or something
Why?
along these lines, right?
What's the planning after knight h5? I wonder. I mean, you
He wants
prepare.
g3.
Yeah. Okay. Does he want to play d4 here? Probably not. You generally don't want to create
Also don't have like
targets
tricks. Like,
targets for.
I thought I can do this, but maybe I can't.
Well, you can, but I'm not sure you want to.
Kind of want to, but maybe this will backfire against me one day.
No, this is very risky, I think.
Okay. So Pavel needs a good move. What if we wait? What about? But king g7, you also kind of.
It's
reluctant
it's
to
actually
play,
white to move.
Yeah, I'm
so
sorry,
yeah.
I meant here.
King g7 is a bit vague. I mean, you can make this move, and it's probably an improving move. So the net effect on your position is positive, but it's a bit slow, and he does play knight h5. So we'll find out in a moment why Anish started with bishop h2. But
Maybe it was just bluffing. Maybe he thought knight h5 is the best move, but it might be tougher to make after bishop h2 than after knight e3.
maybe.
Maybe he just goes here and says, okay, I was just kidding around. We shall see, but yeah, complicated middle game as we've mentioned.
Yeah, in the Aronian Topalov game, things progressed sort of according to what we've described. White is trying to realize the more or less the only active plan he has in this position, which is to try and push for the b5 break, but it will not be easy with black controlling the fifth.
Yeah, and the b5 square like 18 times if I counted correctly. 1, 2, 3, 18. So yeah, looks hard to improve, right?
Yeah, it will
Would
be.
like to just bishop f8, pretend you want to go f5.
You probably don't, not at the moment, but yeah, sort of hint that the 5 exists and remind White that this is not a one-sided game at all. And generally, you just wait. You try and stop b5 as hard as possible because allowing b5 will give White targets. So you play against this one plan and you look perhaps for opportunities to start something in the center if White gets slightly careless.
What can you start on the center? I mean f5.
Yeah, some kind of counterplay connected with f5, but I think it's unlikely. I think f5 is also a seriously weakening move, and finding a situation in which it will be really good whilst the queens are still on will be hard.
What's your take on Veselin in general? He's had 2 pretty rough tournaments in the candidates
Yeah,
and London.
You can fairly say that fairly, and yeah, I don't know. In Moscow, you kind of feel that his tournament was derailed as early as round 1.
Yeah.
Because in round 1 he got this fantastic position in the anti-Berlin against Vichy, which, well, saying he should have won is perhaps a bit harsh, but he was definitely better, and at one point maybe even mathematically winning, but those moves were not very easy to find. I mean, the machine might claim he was hugely better, but these were difficult decisions to take, but still. And he proceeded to lose that game,
Quite badly. Yeah.
quite badly, yeah. And you kind of felt that this really, I mean, it's obviously, a fighter and an experienced player like him doesn't give up after one game. But it did feel like this result kind of broke his.
Yeah, also you question your form. He's not
yeah.
playing that much, and then if things go wrong like that, he just collapsed very badly.
Yeah,
but he's
because-
the defending champion here.
Yes, but he is coming off a very poor run of form, and I think it's very important for him to start well here. If he manages to win a game somewhere in the early rounds, he is one of the more dangerous players, in the world when he is on song and when he is playing well. But he hasn't really been playing well recently, and the question is, can he recapture his best form? And only he
And
knows
does he
that.
want to? Like, he's speaking about enjoying family life and being half retired and not working all that much anymore. Maybe he's fine, yeah, playing when there's an invitation, but not really pushing himself as much as he used to.
Those types of speculation about other players.
No, I'm quoting him. I'm not.
I understand, but still, you need to speculate on how much of it is tongue-in-cheek, and I have no idea. I mean, it's very, very difficult to understand what goes on in other people's heads, and we'll see. We'll see how he goes. We all know he can play extremely well when he plays his best chess. So.
Last year he had decent start to this tournament. First round with black against Magnus Carlsen. Was sort of outplayed, but Magnus overstepped the time limit because he thought there was extra time after move 60, and there wasn't. And that set Veselin up for, great tournament. So maybe he needs these breaks to catch confidence early on, as you mentioned. I don't think he's going to win today against Levon, but even if he holds this game or makes a draw, it's probably not the end of the world.
Sure. No, I think black against Levon, if he manages to hold reasonably comfortably without any scary moments, it will give him confidence. And then tomorrow he will have white pieces against
Carlsen.
So tomorrow will be an important game in the context of Veselin's tournament, because I believe he's beaten Carlsen in two. No, hang on.
One back-to-backs in Norway chess and Sinkfield.
Yeah, the other one was Sinkfield, right. So he's been doing okay against Magnus recently, although, of course, last year here, it was a bit of a lucky break with the regulations. But still, so...
That's the best wins, the undeserved ones. Like they feel like a free point.
There are various points, schools of thought about that, but... Will be interesting to watch it tomorrow, and as for the actual position in that game, I feel it's pretty balanced, and I can't really see how white makes a lot of progress here, but Veselin has been thinking for a while, so perhaps doesn't feel as comfortable.
He likes to push his pawns, maybe he's thinking about h5 or move like that just to create something. I'm not sure I like it, because after h4 it's going to be harder to ever play f5.
I think it's more likely that he felt that the queen on b6 and the rook on d5 were needed to stop the b5 break, and now he's run out of moves he can make by hand, and it also feels like black's setup is kind of ideal as it is.
You can blitz out bishop f8.
You can, but it feels like a bit of a non-move, because even with the bishop on f8, I don't think you actually threaten f5. So. Non-forced decisions are the order of the day now, and after some thought he goes for queen d8. I'm guessing trying to transfer it to d7 where it will participate in life a bit better. And also queen d7, if you put the queen on d7, rook h5 becomes a little bit of an idea. So an interesting play from Veselin. He could have actually started with something like queen d7 before, but I think he felt that putting the rook on d5 was more important, so the queen had to go away from the g-file to allow that.
Here, you might at least have to calculate stuff like this.
Yeah, this definitely happens. Yeah, this definitely happens, and you are probably not particularly happy about it. So, but now the queen is ready to return to d7, and white needs to do something about it.
Yeah, good maneuvering by the Bulgarian, and it looks like he's doing fine. Levon, who also, we've talked about yesterday, not going to be very happy with this candidates tournament. Bunch of people might be licking their wounds a little bit here, and we're going to see how they can recover. Anish Giri, another one of those. Anish strikes me as very stable, but he's had to deal with a lot of the Giri jokes about all his draws in the candidates. He's going to be very eager to win this first round game.
Sure. And
knight f6. d4 we talked about, but knight f6 is surprising.
This is an interesting approach, because you normally try and put as much pressure as possible on the d4 pawn, but with the knight on c2, because normally white has the knight on d2 or somewhere like f1, with the knight on c2, putting actual pressure on the d4 pawn is less simple than it normally is in this line. So Pavel actually changes tacks here and attacks the e4 pawn, which with the knight on c2 is perhaps the weaker of the two. But after bishop d3, you still need to prove your point here. I'm guessing he wants to go something like rook e8,
Yeah, rook e8.
rook e8, and
Fight against knight e3.
and also if you force white to play either d5 or d takes e5, you feel that
D5
you've
is
won.
always horrible.
Yeah, you feel like you've won half the battle here because, yeah, this bishop on a7 becomes a beast, and the bishop on h2, conversely, is a a horrible, semi-pawn.
But after knight f6, can't we jump into action and go for something
Yeah,
direct?
let's try and calculate.
You
Probably
do the calculating. I make moves.
Okay. Knight
I'm out of
cd4,
moves.
I
Yeah,
suppose.
that's what I thought.
Knight cd4, and yeah, some kind of a reaction is needed from black here. There's also an option to, after d5, to just play knight takes e5, actually. We don't need to take that pawn immediately. We can do this, knight e5, d, although queen f3 is...
Also, bishop e5 doesn't work.
Bishop e5, d, knight e5 is also an option, yeah, that's correct.
Looks
it might
very
be
scary.
Yeah, so this is probably very risky. We'll return to that if we need to. And
Also, this stuff, as you mentioned.
but here, after queen e7, the bishop on h2 is... I mean, I probably will have to take on e3 when it appears on e3, the knight on c2, I mean, but yeah, it doesn't appear there for the moment, and there's generally a lot of counterplay in that structure. But
This looks
bishop,
scary.
yeah, bishop e5 could be a problem. Although after bishop takes e4, I don't see how I lose immediately.
No, neither
As
do I,
black.
but it feels like you deserve to.
Yeah, knight cd4 could be very, very unpleasant here, followed by something like knight g4 and the
I wanna
entire...
take here if I get a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, I could get mated very, very easily here. And if I flick in queen takes d1 somewhere after knight e5 maybe, rook g1, bishop e4. Yeah, but it
You're
looks...
so far behind in
Yeah, it
development.
looks horrible.
Knight g4 can be calculated, but if I do this,
Yeah, just knight d4 or
d7.
something. Yeah, there's so many threats.
yes.
Yeah, it feels
Looks so
wrong.
slow.
Feels wrong. So it's interesting because then perhaps d5 forces knight takes e4, and after knight cd4 you kind of still need to make a move.
Yeah, it feels a little scary. Okay, if you take here, then once again, bishop e5 looks
Bishop
very
e5
strong.
actually transposes to something we've seen, and it looks very dangerous. Queen f6 is a move here, but even knight
g4.
even knight g4. Yeah, it looks like it could lose. Maybe it's not that bad objectively, but it does feel like you're running a tremendous amount of risks here.
No, and it feels like, okay, this doesn't mean anything, but by chess laws, to go knight h5 and after d4, which is a logical move to go back, waste 2 full tempes in this position. Not sure if you've earned that right.
Yeah, but it probably is based, on some calculation which may or may not be correct. It's you don't do this willy-nilly, so to speak.
No, I understand, it's a concrete game and all that, it just feels shaky. Yeah, cheat for 1 second, I'm very curious if the computer thinks white is much better here. d-e5, it wants to go d-e5 at first sight. No, now it switches to knight e5.
So bishop takes e5 doesn't win apparently. Yeah.
Bishop e5, d-e, knight e5, bishop e4. Well, it gives white an edge here. We're just much stronger than the computer needed some time to figure this out.
Yeah, no, this definitely is very scary. I mean, black.
It's defending as it tends to, but it looks better for white.
Yeah, no, you don't enter a position like this voluntarily. Generally speaking, you would try to avoid something like this because, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but you're not going to like it very much. Okay, so what's happening in the other games? After
Hare
rook
Krishna, after lengthy thought, went rook fc8.
Yeah, now it's Magnus's turn to take a reasonably long think.
So if you go b4, he still wants to take
I
here.
think he needs to take and play queens somewhere here.
a6 or whatever.
Yeah, a6 or b5 or b8 maybe, but probably a6, I guess. Takes rook f1, I suppose, and some move
This
like
doesn't look too bad somehow, right? Maybe
knight e4 followed
and
by d5, yeah, or maybe d5 first, who knows, yeah. No, this doesn't look as horrible as some of the previous lines we've discussed. Which is why perhaps b4 hasn't been played so far. White
Other
is
options.
rook fd1, rook ac1, all of these moves trying to sort of improve your position or prepare b4. They're all possible. Although queen a5, now that the c5 pawn is somewhat protected, queen a5 maybe becomes an idea for black here.
It's also this move to cover
Yeah.
c4, stop queen a5. And I guess we're still threatening b4 now.
Yeah, this looks promising. Because queen a5 now is impossible because of bishop takes c6, winning a piece.
Queen takes.
Yeah, and knight g4 still runs into the same tactic, I suppose. Looks quite strong. Yeah, knight d2 is definitely an option.
So Magnus thinking for a bit here. Vladimir Kramnik did seize the c-file.
Yeah, we discussed this position. It's, I mean, breaking down black's defenses will not be easy, but, I mean, white obviously is the side enjoying this the most.
He's a pretty decent endgame player with an advantage, this guy Kramnik, right?
Yeah, he's been known to win some of these positions, yeah.
So he's pushing, there's no action in MVL against Li Chao. No big action in Topalov Aronian. Levin played queen b2, keeping an eye on this guy.
Keeping an eye on
Allows this
d4 yeah, after queen d7, maybe
to
you can
jump?
make an argument for knight c5. Yeah,
what I
takes.
was wondering.
Because with the rook on d5, after rook e7, rook cb4, you can't really protect the b7 pawn comfortably. You would like to play rook d5, d7 here, but you can't because the square is occupied.
Can we give checkmate? Not in time, huh?
Probably not on time. And Veselin does something very, very curious.
F5. He likes to push his pawns.
Yeah. But this is also a weakening move, like knight g2, f3, for instance. If we bring this knight over to f3,
I don't like it much.
yeah, I do. It feels to me like it's a bit early for f5 here. But on the other hand, he probably wasn't feeling particularly happy about the direction the game was headed, and he decided to do something to make play more concrete. But yeah, it feels like this, creates targets for white to play against.
You go knight d2, right? Knight c5.
I think you do, because here,
takes and black can defend everything.
yeah, the point I was making here, here it actually works. Yeah, my after rook b4, I will be able to play rook d7, keeping everything in check, and yeah, this position should probably be fine for black.
So committal decision by Topalov, pushing his pawn. And speaking about the direction things are going, I mean, told people I'm very happy with the direction the show is going. We need to bring in some fresh blood. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go on a little break, play some exciting clips, and then we're gonna be back with a new category for this show. It's the first round, so every category is new. But Fiona's social media corner with our colleague Fiona Steele-Anthony, she's gonna take us through what's happening in the outside world. I have no clue. By outside world, I mean social media, Twitter, Facebook, chess pages. So she's gonna fill us in. I'm sure you guys sent her your questions. We're gonna be back after that with more exciting endgame technique by Vladimir Kramnik, Chuko piano action by Anish Giri, Petrov by MVL, all that good stuff.
Yes.
See you guys in a minute.
Hello guys and welcome to this new part of the show. I'm here in Stavanger for Altibox Norway Chess, and this is a new addition to our show here on Chess24. I'm going to be bringing you some of the latest tweets as well as some photos I've taken in the playing hall today. As I mentioned on Twitter before, you can in the next 10 days, as long as the tournament goes on, send your questions or comments using hashtag C24Live or hashtag Altibox Norway Chess. So I'll be keeping an eye on the tweets while I'm here. I will be here for roughly 5 to 10 minutes. I will also try to keep an eye on the chat at Chess24 in case you have any questions I can answer right now. So yeah, there you go. I'll now start by bringing you a couple of tweets I picked out today. The first one comes to us from India, from the MAH Chess League. And they are saying, best to our superstar Harry Chess, who opens against Magnus Carlsen at the most important tournament of his career. So yeah, a lot has been said about this. It's a first for a couple of players here. Hari Krishna, I mean, he's been on the top level for a while, but maybe not quite this elite event. Then there's also Li Chao, Elianov, and of course Niels Guandelius, who qualified through a qualifying tournament a couple of weeks ago. It's my voice. Yeah, so all those newcomers, best of luck to them. It must be very exciting for them to be playing here in Stavanger with the best of the world, amongst others world champion Magnus Carlsen, of course. So yeah, an exciting tournament for them, and I wish the best of luck. Then moving on to another tweet from John Ludvig Hammer, who is sitting just a few meters away from me in the Norwegian TV studio of TV2. And his tweet says, secret to success. I'm just mimicking whatever Paul Borta and Jan Gustafsson. Paul Borta, for those of you who don't know, I don't think that will be very many of you. Paul Borta is of course none other than Peter Svidler. And yeah, it's just a funny tweet from John Ludvig Hammer saying, and apparently appreciating the show Peter and Jan are bringing to you. Then, last but not least, last tweet for now, a tweet from Tarjei Swensen, who is just sitting opposite me here in the studio. He is tweeting, saying, he's tweeting a comment from Svidler saying Magnus is quite seriously better. Indeed, you will have seen this. Peter said earlier that out of the 5 games he fought, Magnus was the only one who's better. And then another tweet, which came in too late for me to show you now, but it's another tweet from Tarjei, which is very interesting. Today could be the first time in 730 days that Magnus wins the first round of a tournament he's playing in. So it's been quite a while, 2 years without a first round win for Magnus. So it's going to be very interesting to see whether he can break the curse today. Now, moving on, I'm going to show you a couple of photos from the playing hall. We're here in Stavanger at the Stavanger Forum Conference Center. So the first photo, again, it's the first time we're doing this and I can't actually see what's on screen, but hopefully I'm in sync to comment on the photos I'm showing you. So the first photo is a photo of the playing hall. There you can see what it looks like from a wider angle. You see a photo on the left that was about an hour before the tournament started. Arbiters and volunteers setting up last details, making sure everything was all right. And then the photo on the right, the playing hall in full swing, about 5-10 minutes into the round. Then another photo number 2, is a photo of the confessional booth. I haven't heard anything yet on whether the confessional booth has been used already. I always personally thought that the confessional booth is a very interesting addition to a tournament. It's always up to the players, of course, whether they want to use it or not. I saw at the US Championship, Hikaru Nakamura said that he wouldn't be using it because it was hindering his concentration, while others, like Karana, seem to quite enjoy going into the confession booth and making some comments. So yeah, I'll be very interested to see how the use of the confessional booth goes here at Norway Chess. The next photo, you will see, let me just make sure I'm not saying anything stupid. The next photo is of the players arriving. And in this particular photo, you can see Hare Krishna stepping out of his car with his second, Markus Rager from Austria. It has to be said, Markus Rager is a very strong second. He's a 2700 rated himself. So Hare Krishna going to quite some lengths here in his first Super Elite event. I think the cars are a very nice touch. So every single player in the tournament has his own personal car with driver to bring him to the playing hall. The playing hall isn't too far away. It's a 10-15 minute drive depending on traffic. So yeah, there you see Hare Krishna arriving to his round 1 game earlier today with Markus Rager. Next photo is of the round getting underway, and you see Magnus Carlsen. The first move was being made by representatives of the main sponsor of the tournament, Altibox. On every 5 boards, the players were asked what move they wanted to make, and the representatives made them for them. And then just a last quick picture of the round underway, maybe the most exciting or the most unbalanced game at the moment. There you can see the players, Magnus Carlsen and Hare Krishna, were during their game. As we said, it's the game where maybe White has the most, or one of the players has the most serious advantage. Okay, and yeah. That's it for my photos. I'm just having a quick look at the chat. This is a bit more difficult than I thought, talking you through all of this and keep an eye on the chat. But there is a question from Leonelli CC, and he's asking, do confessions have to be just about chess, or can it be spicy? I think the point of the confession booth is that the players can literally talk about anything they want. Of course, they are encouraged to share some comments on their games, but a couple of days ago at the US Championship, for example, where a confessional booth is also being used, Fabiano Caruana entered the booth and confessed his love for his manager Lawrence Trent. So it doesn't always have to be about chess. I think the confessional booth can have very fun and multiple purposes too. There's another question about Giri's car. Let me just have a quick look before I leave you guys. I will probably be back for part 2 of this in about an hour and a half. Maybe a photo. There was a question. A photo of me. not just now. I will later on, when I come back, I will bring you a photo of the setting here so you know what it looks like. It's a big open hall where there is the TV studio of the Norwegian guys, then there's our little studio. It's a very busy place, as Jan and Peter mentioned earlier. So yeah, I'm going to go back to my little seat now, and as I said, if you have any questions or comments, I would appreciate you guys contributing to this part of the show with your tweets. Tweet using hashtag C24Live or hashtag Altibox Norway Chess, and I'll be back in about an hour and a half or 2 hours with part 2 of this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.
And we're
Welcome
back.
Yes.
Welcome back to the coverage of the first round of Altibox Norway Chess 2016, and we're there's been some developments in the game, so let's show you some of those. There's been I wanted to say further trades, and I think it actually is true. There's been further trades in the Petrov between MVL and Li Chao. Eventually, MVL decided not to take on e6, but to trade the knights instead, which we felt was very reasonable because he wants to fight for the control of the long diagonal. He does go bishop g4, and here Li Chao did not take on d4, after which his position would be, I guess, somewhat passive, and he played bishop h4 instead. Bishop f2, bishop f6 is the easy part.
Sure.
But what do you do if white just plays like rook e2? Or I'm choosing the square, but I think e2 is the most natural square here.
Yeah, it's not so easy to make a move. You'd like to go bishop f5, but I'm a little worried this guy might feel home alone.
Yeah, you could run into some tactics. Yeah, if you take on e8, black will already have to take with the queen because rook takes is impossible because of bishop takes d5. And in this position, you could find yourself in some.
Maybe it works though. I was going to go g4, but takes bishop e4, and I can't really see breakthrough.
G5 maybe, but it doesn't feel like I will actually capture this bishop. Although, I mean, it's not completely ridiculous, followed by bishop e5, yeah, and there is some play here, but yeah, curious position, but generally, of course, with the structure quite symmetrical here and the material being completely symmetrical, so to speak, drawing tendencies are quite heavy, and generally I think in positions where it's two bishops against two bishops, it's much harder to make any serious progress because bishops work very well with knights, sort of in creating ideas and threats, and here I think, yeah, white is definitely a little bit better, but I'm not sure if it's a lot.
Yeah. Before we started complaining about the Berlin for 10 years, we were complaining about the Petrov being the end of chess. So Li Chao bringing us back to the late 90s. Magnus Carlsen was born in the not late 90s, probably early 90s. When was he born?
Early 90s.
91, 92?
I prefer not to think about that.
Okay.
It's depressing to think about just how big of an age difference there is. But yeah, he's although he's not, he's also in some ways, I still feel that he is, to me, he's kind of younger than he actually is. He is 20, I think 4 or 5 now, yeah. And
maybe 25 by now.
And
good thing we're geo-blocked in Norway. People would switch off by now, not knowing the age of the world champion.
Yeah, but
why does he feel younger? I don't get.
I don't know. To me, it always feels like he is. I understand he's been around forever, and my first game against him was 10 years ago or something. But still, it feels to me like he's like in his late teens or early 20s, and it's kind of no longer true.
So you feel like me that people born in the 1990s, you're surprised if they can speak, let alone be world chess champions?
That could be a slight overstatement, but yeah, that general feeling is not completely unfamiliar.
So, after this whining about our age part, we should probably go to Vladimir Kramnik, because that's his wheelhouse. He likes to whine about his age.
I'm not sure. I mean, once again, whine is a bit of a strong word, but yeah, I mean, he
subtly point out his.
Yeah, that would be a better description. He is still better, still pushing in an endgame against Niels Grandelis, and he's
went for some deep stuff. Rook a1, not the first move that comes to mind. I probably put it here.
But the thing is, you still need to create an active plan to break down Black's position, and he decided to go for an immediate plan with a5. And actually, what happened here after a5, f6, he's just taken on b6, which is very interesting because
there's a saying that Kramnik's passed pawn's always queen.
Is there?
Yep.
Okay.
I probably made it up, but I think there's a lot of truth to it. And if fe, he just wants fe and then take all the pawns.
Yeah, he will start by recapturing here, and the question is what happens after knight b5. The rest I don't particularly like for Black, but after knight b5, I'm somewhat unsure as to what's going on here.
Rook c5, a6, yeah?
Yeah, rook c5, a6 is the only move, but could be enough, and then Black starts attacking the b pawn.
Even in such a position, who knows who's better and why, but it's probably not what Kramnik has in mind. Yeah?
Yeah, white shouldn't be worse, but I don't think he is much better either. So it's interesting because I somehow assumed that if Vladimir plays a takes b6 here, fe5 is just impossible. But maybe he just decided to create additional choices for Niels and give him options, because it's easier to play when you only have one move in front of you and you absolutely need to make it. And here it's no longer the case.
It's no trick here. It feels like it should be a trick. Rook a5, a6. Does that change anything?
I'm not sure.
Maybe it doesn't.
And just maybe take on e6 here, switch to more sort of materialistic approach for the time being, bring it back to c6 if it gets attacked, and then try and include the knight in play somehow, like before knight b3, knight c5 maybe, or the route you've just described via g3 and f3 and g5.
Looks quite unpleasant. These knights are silly. They don't have any squares.
Yeah, in particular the one on e8 it paints a bit of a silly picture here, yeah. And what happens if AB is met by a takes b? Let's have a look at that. Rook takes e8 is forced, I think. Rook takes, and I guess knight d3 or knight d7. But after knight d7, what happens after rook a2 was what I was trying to get to.
King somewhere.
And seems like Niels trusted Vladimir on that subject. And what's the time situation? I'm just wondering.
Let me check. Vladimir has 41 minutes and Niels says 50, so no time trouble.
Then I'm very, very curious as to why he didn't spend more time on this decision, because it felt to me like it was a decision which merited a bit of further thought.
Maybe.
Because as we were just starting to describe, if you take on b6 as he's already done, takes knight d7 might force you to play b6 b5. Especially if rook a2 king d3 is nothing, it's just sort of an empty shot which doesn't really give you anything. Then you have to play b5.
I was wondering about this, but this looks bad for black, right?
With the knight on e8, yeah, you would very much like this knight to be slightly more active before you engage in this, because rook e6, rook b6, you will lose this. Yeah, white is too active and too centralized, and the knight on e8 is too miserable for this to work for black. So he will have to play b5 either immediately or after rook a2, knight king d3. And then the knight, the knight can come to c5. Although after king f7 there are no checks along the 7th, because both b7 and c7 are covered. But
there's some deep move.
It's a passive position. King e7, d7 though. Maybe it's not that bad.
Maybe the knight, yeah.
Maybe I was unnecessarily worried about black's position here, because.
Do you have a tendency to be unnecessarily worried?
When I'm facing a slightly worse endgame against Kramnik, yeah, I think that could be a problem I've had previously.
Maybe it's necessarily worried, because he is good at this stuff.
Yeah, but still, maybe it's not as bad as I initially thought.
And if knight to d3?
Yes, it probably. Well, first of all, what changes if I go b5 anyway? But
maybe nothing. I was wondering if this was a square, but it doesn't do all that much.
Well, white's only issue here, and the reason why white is not really winning, is the knight on d2, which really has no immediate prospects at all. And knight d7 has been played, so Vladimir also feels that forcing b5 is a good idea. But still, yeah, you kind of feel that, had this knight been on c3, if you kind of play knight d2 c3 here and rook b6, for instance, b5 pawn will just fall. But with the knight on d2 so far away from all kinds of useful squares, it's still not that easy for white to create any immediate threats.
I was wondering about some drastic measures, but they don't strike me as that good.
E takes,
ef, yeah, knight b6,
rook
a2,
rook
a6,
rook a6.
Ah,
you have knight takes d5 though, so it actually works for white. But it works to the extent that you probably get
this is
fine.
winning,
Yeah, this is fine for black simply. Knight c7, knight g5. Yeah, exactly. So
now f5 is nothing.
Or at least not a huge big deal immediately.
Maybe he doesn't want anything directly. Maybe he just wants to improve his position slightly and see what happens.
Sure,
but black also has easy play.
Yeah, the king comes to e7, and then you reevaluate, so to speak. You perhaps look for an exchange of rooks somewhere, because although it's not that easy, the rook on c6 is surprisingly hard to touch.
Checkle.
To touch, yeah.
So Kramnik still slightly better, but it looks like Niels is hanging in there for now.
Sure. It's an unpleasant position, but it's a position which is, on the other hand, it's reasonably simple to play for black, because his options are so severely limited that it's not that hard to make choices here.
Loud music, even Niels Grandelis himself was looking up there for a moment, studying the position. I find it very unfair that he decided to get a haircut before this tournament, because we have all these cartoons where he looks like a proper Viking, but now he's all cleaned up.
Yeah, I don't think...
He's selling out. That's what super tournaments do to people. Get a proper haircut, nice suit, nice shirt. It's not the Niels we know.
No, but it's an understandable decision, and we can't really criticize him too harshly for it. But,
why not?
But we will anyway.
Yeah.
He should have stuck to his guns. He was one of the wilder chess players in terms of appearance for a while, I think.
Yeah, him and Grishuk are the only grandmasters who ever sported cornrows, right?
Are they called cornrows?
I don't know what they're called. Was it an
Dreads?
afro or was it cornrows? Oh, yeah, it was dreads.
I think they had dreads. Yeah. Yeah, Grishuk has not been doing that for a while, but yeah, Niels, as recently as in Qatar, I think he was still sporting some kind of a wild haircut.
Maybe he found a haircutter in Qatar.
Well played, sir.
Rook FD1 has been played by Magnus Carlsen, who's not known for crazy haircuts yet. He might get more eccentric as time goes by. He's sported...
You can but hope.
So Rook FD1, logical enough move. We were talking about some knight g4 here, because now this no longer works so well.
Yeah.
But the bishop just goes.
The bishop goes somewhere, yeah. F4, maybe even d2, c3 might be an idea in some positions. So, yeah, knight g4 is a bit of an empty jump. I wonder, though, if white has an actual threat. Let's say...
b4 a threat?
Well, with the rook on c8, bishop takes c5 is no longer a fork. So, yeah, b4 is an idea, but I don't know if it's a threat necessarily. Let's put it like this.
Still need to make a move. Also, Mike, play rook c1, and then b4 is certainly going to be a threat.
Yeah, sure. What happens if I play queen a5 here, by the way? This is a very concrete attempt, so we need to work out what happens if black chooses to do that.
Let me try the obvious first. Takes, knight e5.
There is d5, but let's try the simpler approach first. Rook b8. Ah, yeah, I forgot about knight g7. How bad is this? Pretty bad, probably, yeah?
Not sure. It looks good for white somehow. Bishops.
Yeah, hang on a second. Let's play d5 on the previous move. C takes and take with the knight, maybe? But b4 might be... Yeah, you might even consider rook d5, but also b4 looks very promising. Yeah, this looks dodgy. Okay, so queen a5 probably runs into takes knight e5, which at the very least requires very precise calculation from black and probably isn't advisable.
And yeah, queen b2 is still impossible for many reasons.
Yeah.
a6 being
rook ab8 is awkward because bishop f4 drives it back.
This is sort of
no, but then before
could think of, but yeah, this.
Then before, no,
Nah, it's just bad.
It's a weird position because it's not that easy to suggest an improving move for black.
We still haven't found one, no? And if we go, crazy,
if you play d5, I think after c takes d5.
Just played d5.
He's played d5. Okay, so c takes d5.
I guess knight takes. Yeah.
If knight takes, then bishop takes c5 is very strong. I thought that was my assumption.
Okay.
That was my assumption from some way away, because once again this should work perfectly fine for white. No, it's just a pawn.
I don't see any trick here.
Yeah. So
you have to go e takes.
But what changes? Why can't I do this anyway? That was my point. Why can't I do this anyway? Takes, queen a6. If you play knight e4 or knight g4, I will play e3. I think sufficiently blocking. Yeah,
just
queen c2
fishing.
here. Yeah. Knight d2.
Whoa. Tactics.
Well, I'm trying. Knight queen e2. Yeah, and simply queen takes d2 here, and yeah. d5 is gonna get picked up.
Doesn't look so pretty.
No, and It's probably not a happy decision for Harry, but I guess after a prolonged thought,
Yeah, we couldn't see any other move.
it's not that easy to find a move here. I mean, if you make some kind of a waiting move like h6, which could be useful and also maybe stops bishop g5 in some positions.
White has plenty.
Yeah, but rook
waiting moves.
ac1 is a very easy improving move for white as well. So, yeah, interesting. But after d5, cd5, he will have to justify this somehow. Is bishop
let's
b5 a move?
Whoa.
But queen c2. Maybe queen c2, knight d4? Can we try this? No, but this probably not. Bishop d4 and queen d2, and white will end up with
And
an
the
extra.
fun, yeah.
Yeah, fun over definitely here. So queen c2, and can we take knight takes bishop c5? Doesn't seem to work. Also knight g5 next move will suddenly begin a devastating attack on the king side.
Yeah, I was thinking about jumps, but they don't really.
Jumps
Do
just
any good for
just end up with a just
Even
takes
less.
takes, yeah. Rook c5, queen d2, or anywhere. Yeah, just a very bad position for black. Pawn down and no compensation whatsoever. So what is Harry's plan here?
Maybe it's just a bad position and he could see nothing but this.
Of the two options available to him, I still like ed5 more than this.
Yeah.
This feels to me like it could be completely lost. So ed5, at least there are some jumps. Queen c5 I think is required. Queen a6, allowing rook ac1 is completely impossible.
No,
You go
here
knight.
or here, but probably here.
Yeah, probably here. And actually, even the somewhat counterintuitive rook f1 could be quite strong, because rook c1 is coming next move.
Yeah, Carlsen took on d5, no surprise there.
Yeah.
And Harry takes back with a pawn instantly, so that was his plan. And Carlsen has the decision, bishop c5. Looks very tempting.
Well, allowing-
the moves before.
Before is possible, but
Takes.
probably takes bishop c5, queen b7 maybe, or something like that.
White is also better here, but
Absolutely,
pawn
but
up, so-
absolutely. But bishop c5, if it works, should win.
Right.
So you start by trying to make this work.
Are we missing anything yet? Well, if black plays slowly, it's just bust.
No,
so you have to
once
go here.
once the queen is driven from c5, I think it's game over. So it's either knight g4 or knight e4.
No, yeah, rook
Yeah,
f1.
but
or
what's wrong with
e3?
rook f1?
Probably nothing.
Maybe something like knight d4 or queen c. No, queen
Queen
c2, rook
c2,
ac1
c1,
now
yeah.
is game over. So yeah, this is just completely dead. Therefore, it has to be something connected with the. Black needs to unpin himself somehow. Knight d4 maybe. But it looks incredibly dodgy. Like takes,
It's bad.
takes, and even rook a d1 maybe, or
I'm thinking about
b4.
b4.
Yeah,
but
b4 is
somehow
also.
don't like it
I mean,
this
it's
time.
greedy, but it could be very strong. But rook d1, queen b2, rook d5, knight c3, and even something like rook d7, just going for the jugular. Rook e5 is possible, but rook d7 followed by the putting pressure on the f7 pawn might just win. Rook b8, queen takes a7 also. I mean, let's combine the
Yeah.
materialistic approach with the mating attack.
No, looks pretty bad. Magnus studying the position, looks calm, looks half asleep actually, but that's probably deceptive.
Yeah, he generally you can't really trust him looking half asleep. He's pulled that trick off before. He actually is awake.
Sleeping giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has a very pleasant choice, but for now we can't see anything wrong with this queen.
Yeah, it seems to me like bishop takes c5 should be very, very strong here.
If the queen goes
No,
somewhere.
if the queen
but
goes
then-
somewhere, you can play anything. I mean, knight d4 is probably very strong.
Yeah, knight d4 looks crushing actually.
Yeah, knight d4 takes, and after bishop e2, I might even be in time to go bishop takes f6 and rook d1 and bishop d5. Just finishing the game on the spot, more or less. Rook d1, gf, bishop d5. Should be close to winning, I guess. Queen g4 check first, I think, yeah. No, king h8, king f8 I'll probably give mate. You have to go to h8. Might not be as winning as I thought here.
Even this is good for white, but it doesn't look like you need this, right?
Probably not.
How do we get here? This position.
Rook d2, bishop c4. Or actually even rook c4. No, rook c4, queen a5 is bad.
Here.
No, actually,
Oh,
rook,
yeah.
rook c4, queen a5, I can take rook takes d4, which is a nifty tactic, but... and this actually works for black, I think, but after rook c4, b4 might be very strong. which stops this from happening, and probably white is about to 94. Game kind of continues.
Still some tricks.
Yeah, game continues. And in this position in particular, black seems to have escaped a little bit.
But we're kind of going nuts right here. We're looking at queen b7. Everything must sort of win for white.
Yeah,
e3, whatever.
I find it very, very difficult to believe this can actually work. And and anyway, by work we mean that black doesn't lose on the spot.
Even if I play this, do you have any threats?
No, I think this should be very strong as well. This or more or less any move.
So this doesn't quite work. Seems like there's nothing wrong with bishop takes.
Yeah, let's let them be for a while, because I think the evaluation of this position has been established, and revisit the Giri Ilyanov game.
Very brief stop here because it's boring. They've simplified endgame, which black should hold.
Yeah, I think this shouldn't even be a huge issue, because the pawn on g4 is hanging, and once white, and probably he will be, is forced to play g4, g5, black has enough very solid squares for his pieces to hold comfortably here. And yeah, Maxim has played g5, but just play king b7 and shuffle around forever. Black is sort of under no threat really with the bishop on e6 as solid as it is.
Yeah, this should end peacefully.
Yeah, you can also start immediately activating your pieces by rook d1, rook h8. When once black starts going rook h3, rook h2 and creating, hustling white along the h file, I think, yeah.
It's a draw.
This will get wrapped up reasonably fast, I think.
So let's go to Anish.
Yeah, it's curious that he didn't go knight cd4. We like knight cd4. In this position, after a really lengthy thought, he went for knight e3 instead of knight cd4. It's also a sensible move, but we felt knight d4 was more forcing.
Looked like it. So what's going on now? You can take on e5. But
you can take on e5 in a number of different ways.
So I'm tempted to do this.
Yeah,
because knight e5 you have all these forcing. Bishop e5.
But even after d5, bishop takes e5 is definitely a move to consider.
Yeah, but then there's less threats.
Well, c7 is actually hanging. So if black does nothing, I will take on d8 and take on c7 next move. So some kind of a decision is required here.
If I take.
Knight takes, and what do you want to play queen f6, I guess, yeah.
We looked at something similar, but not quite.
Yeah, but the knight on d4, I think white would be winning here by force. But in this position, I'm less certain.
Still many scary options, but you would have to calculate.
Yeah, and if you need to go something like knight 5 g4, you are.
That doesn't look so scary.
You are solving black's problems for him, so to speak. I mean, queen g7, and.
I was even wondering if I can go here.
Maybe you can, yeah.
So taking this pawn feels like.
Followed by rook d8. Yeah, it's just one pawn, and black gains a lot of tempo here by giving up on h6.
So what about this move?
Bishop f2, king h1, I suppose.
I wasn't sure, but yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, also looks interesting. Let's say queen f4, creating a number of threats. I guess you need to take on e4 because knight g3, knight f1 would be mate. Bishop takes.
That was a plan, but I haven't seen any further, frankly. Knight f7, I have some moves, but I'm not sure any of those work.
Knight f7 feels a bit slow. Even king g7 would seem to be a very decent reply to that.
Maybe it doesn't work.
Maybe it doesn't, yeah. So d5 could be an option. It does require very, very precise calculation from Pavel here, but he is very capable of...
And if that works, then knight takes e5 should also work, right? Bishop e5 is the same position.
Yeah, bishop e5 transposes. And what if white does this? Maybe even just going c6 against anything could be an idea. Or taking and playing c. No.
Let's get rid of the queens.
I don't know, giving up on the g file doesn't feel right.
Okay.
Although if I play c6 immediately, something like queen g4 could be annoying as well. So I don't know, queen e7 maybe.
Really? Stepping into
knight takes e5 has been played in the meantime, so let's have a look at what Anish feels about his position.
And there we see Anish not wearing a tie today. Pavel Ilyanov is wearing one, but Anish is going tieless. just staring at it.
Yeah, let's not go into the sartorial choices just yet.
What else is there to talk about? I can't comment on the glasses. I really lack expertise.
Yeah. So this is becoming very sharp and concrete. So we'll keep an eye on that. But let's revisit the game between Levon and Veselin.
I haven't been there for a while.
Yeah, there's been some developments. You kept on saying this this phrase that Veselin likes to push his pawns, and
He does.
yeah we've had ample demonstration of that what's the word? This? I can't pronounce it. Yeah. So after playing f5, Veselin followed it up immediately by playing g5, g4 to drive the knight away from f3, which is a very interesting approach and a very energetic one. Yeah, so knight e1, he played bishop e7 to drive the rook from c5 away, or to make the favorable trade on d5 now that the knight is no longer on f3. And by playing g5, g4, what black has managed to secure his d4 pawns, so to speak, at least for the time being, because the knight on e1 is no longer putting any pressure on it. And here he went bishop g5, knight g2, and once again the rook lands on the 5th. He goes rook e5, effectively stopping the before b5 ideas, at least for the time being. Knight f4, and interestingly he didn't take. I mean taking is perfectly reasonable here, but he went for queen d6, which is maybe slightly more ambitious.
That vacates this diagonal.
Yeah, queen a2 check, king g7, and b5 is an option. But I guess after that he can do something like takes, and maybe bishop takes f4. Although I'm curious about bc. Gf rook takes b5, I'd be happy as black, but b5 takes c6 could be an interesting option here. Bishop takes g3, rook takes b7, check there.
Yeah.
So maybe king g7 was a mistake. Maybe h8 is a better square.
Okay. But I'm very concerned about vacating.
Yeah, queen f7 is or f8, but f8 looks very artificial.
Yeah.
So this also has the potential of for becoming a bit sharper pretty soon.
Maybe this works for black, but it looks scary somehow.
Yeah, you need to be
So
very
close to
convinced.
checkmate.
Like b5 or something here.
Of
this
course,
is-
none of this is exactly forced.
No, of course not. After queen a2, all moves are possible. King g7, b5. You can just take twice with pawns, or maybe even
take with
the
the
rook. Yeah, rook takes, cb, knight e6, check, king f6. Seems to be okay for black. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there is knight g5, queen g8, but it's a drawing attempt at best, because the b pawn is very, very dangerous here.
No, this looks fine. So maybe it's all holding. Oh yeah. Doesn't look like there should be cause for concern for black. These pieces are good.
Yeah.
Topalov
Rook
playing
c1,
active stuff.
rook c1, c4, but I guess with the queen on d6, black is now
Oh, you
prepared to
take.
take and go rook d5 or something, and the pawn on f4 will hang and distract white from whatever active plans he may have had on the king's side.
No. I guess it's equal, but I think
you
black
pro-
has absolutely nothing to worry
Yeah,
about.
you probably pick black here,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's not very much.
can keep
either.
pushing your pawn.
Yeah.
So Veselin has stuff to do. Let's go back to Mr. Anish. He took with the knight on e5. Also probably evaluated that these bishop e5 lines didn't quite work.
Yeah, he's thinking here because he has the option of taking queens off immediately if he wants to by taking on d8, but I guess he would prefer to play bishop takes e5 first.
I was wondering if he can even sacrifice a pawn and try to keep the queens on, but might be excessive. You have queen f6.
Yeah, queen f6 is a bit awkward to mate. Otherwise, it would be a decent idea. Queen f6
Yeah.
and f2 is hanging, and if black manages to play c7, c6, it covers most of the active jumps white will have in the future. So yeah.
I still like to sacrifice Anish's pieces.
But there's queen
See,
e1,
now
knight
you have
f2.
queen e1. That
Yeah.
sort of stops my
let's put this.
sacrificial ambitions.
Let's put this on the board to illustrate. Queen e1
That's a serious
and
problem.
knight f2, yeah, and black just wins.
And Anish has played knight g4.
This one we managed to completely ignore, and it's an interesting move.
He's fighting for the initiative. I'm gonna do that a couple times.
So what happens if I play h5 in some shape or form? Let's say his idea is to play rook takes c4, of course, followed by queen takes d8 and a fork on f6.
Yeah, let's show this is not the clean version.
But I wanted to take on g4 here.
Yeah, I understand. Just to show the idea.
Yeah. But the issue is, after rook takes g4, the pawn on f7 is pinned.
You really want to play f6 here?
Yeah, if black could play f6 here, he'd be better.
Of course.
But
Can you play rook d2 and be equal?
Rook g5 or maybe bishop g3 first, I'm not sure.
Yeah. This might be unpleasant because rook g6 is a threat, so you have to waste another tempo. Feels like
Well,
we're
I can
giving
play
too many
bishop
pawns.
takes f2 check, but I'm not
Sure.
sure I want to include that because I think it's unnecessary. And we see MVL and Lichao exiting the playing hall. Their game ended in a draw, but we'll not return to it until maybe they have one of them might join us for a brief press conference.
Yeah.
We don't know for sure
Not
yet.
quite sure where they're headed.
Yeah, we should
sometimes.
continue speaking about the Giri Ilyanov game because it's reached a very interesting juncture. So, knight g4, what else is there for black?
Can always trade queens. If in doubt, get rid of the queens.
But now the rook takes c4 is a huge big threat, and knight takes c5 in some positions will also be a threat. And king g7, you step right into those checks. Rook d7 check, looks horrible. Probably loses. Rook takes c4. This will not end well. Yeah, this will eventually end in mate, I think. So, very interesting idea from Anish there.
Let's find a move. King h7.
Yeah, king h7 is definitely no. King h7 is still the same fork.
So
Yeah, it's still the same fork. Yeah,
if I start with king g7,
looks incredibly scary.
I'm known to be completely fearless.
Bishop b5, f6. If all else fails, I can play bishop d4 with
Sure.
with significant advantage, I think. But
Yeah, the pieces are kind of bad.
but there could be something even stronger.
Yeah. Okay, this is not over, but
No, of course not. But if black actually needs to make a move as well, ugly as king g7, it really is not a good sign. Let's look for something better than this. Can
Tell
we
us.
play queen e7 here?
bishop takes.
And can I play? I want to play h5, but I have a feeling I will lose. h5, rook e4, hg4. But I have a feeling this will not work. Queen takes g4, simply bishop e4, and there will be some mate after queen takes e4, simply. Because queen g6 is a threat I can't even see how to meet immediately. It feels
Yeah,
to be
it's just
completely,
over.
yeah, it feels like black is just losing here. So, yeah, problems for Pavel, definitely.
Nice resources, knight g4.
Yeah, and this actually explains why he went for knight e3 instead of knight g4, because he
Looks
saw
like
that
we're
this.
getting some visitors, or a visitor at the very least.
Yeah. Grab a seat.
There
Grab
he
a
is.
seat. Mic up, and tell us everything about the Petrov.
We're joined by the French number one, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, who drew his first game. Are you unhappy?
Well, I'm not so happy when I don't manage to put, my opponent major problems with white. But it's a first game, so I knew this, these kind of things can happen. And in general, Lichao played quite well, so there's not so much to be unhappy about. Maybe I missed a few things.
I'll let
to,
you smart people do the chess stuff.
to put more problems, but
So tell us, we Were you surprised by d5? We were slightly surprised by this
A
choice.
little bit. Generally, you don't go d5 in this kind of positions, but at the same time, the position is very cramped. So
Yeah, I understand, but
I thought maybe bishop f6, bishop g5, queen e7.
yeah, this is what they normally do, don't they? Something like bishop f6, bishop g5,
I was not sure that
And
bishop
maybe-
g5 was first.
maybe queen f4.
Yeah,
or-
queen f4, and I assumed there was.
I'll leave you
something
guys so Li Chao can join
Sure.
the party. See you.
Come in. So, have a seat.
Okay.
Sure. Let's wait until everybody's mic'd up and we'll continue discussing the thrilling Petrovs. Did you consider this?
This game is
No, I mean instead of d5, we thought this was the first critical moment, and d5 is an interesting choice and not a standard move in this position. Did you consider, let's say, maybe bishop f6?
yeah, I saw that, but I don't know after queen f4 how to play. for me.
Yeah, that was what we were discussing.
Yeah, I thought you maybe knight e5, but of course it's slightly better. But
Yeah.
it's
Bishop f6, maybe just queen takes or
No,
something.
no, I think after bishop f6 I can hold this position, but maybe something like h4, I don't know.
Ah, okay.
I was also thinking bishop f6, queen takes, and then knight h4 at the end,
Uh-huh.
because this knight on h4 can.
But
be
this game, this position, maybe like I play with Leko.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's close.
It's close, but at the same time it's
maybe
quite
got-
pleasant. I mean, of course, it's not a very big deal, but
maybe bishop d7.
Yeah, you want to play knight g6,
Yes,
of course.
yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, let's not get too carried away analyzing this endgame. It's I don't know, maybe rook
Yeah,
d4
rook d4
followed by
first.
rook f4
Yeah,
or
yeah.
knight g6. I don't know, something like
Bishop d3. No,
bishop
it's-
d3. You have white has some pressure here, but
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's
So-
not the end of the world.
Sure.
Definitely.
So what do you think should happen here, and where do you think you could have maybe played better if you feel you missed some chances?
Well, I mean, first of all, here bishop f4 might have been interesting. But I thought maybe even f6. You know, you can allow this queen e3, bishop a6 stuff. So because after queen e3, you just play maybe g5 first to remove this bishop.
Let's
and
go somewhere.
Bishop f7, something like this.
And these tactics will
Doesn't seem to work to me. but
just takes or
yeah, just take.
checking
A8.
a8, I guess takes.
Yeah, even rook c8. No, rook c8, queen rook e7.
Yeah. Well, this looks scary.
No, it does look scary, but somehow I didn't think it would work. Maybe rook e8.
I don't know. I'd be interested by these opportunities, like I don't know, 94
Yeah,
maybe.
knight a7 back.
Knight a7. Yeah, interesting.
I felt that there's not enough pieces, but
Yeah, maybe
you know,
maybe you're right.
Maybe I didn't calculate also
We-
deeply enough.
We completely missed this idea altogether. So you're already way ahead of us. Did you consider bishop f4?
But I'm afraid of knight d4 when I play d5. But I think after bishop f4, I think maybe bishop f6 or something.
Bishop 6, I guess you switch to. No, but hang on, you can get this position later. What do you do after bishop f6?
I could play bishop g5 again.
Uh-huh.
Ah, that's clever.
I mean, that's, you know, maybe sometimes a bit too clever, but at the same time, you know, it's again, I mean, d5 I don't see, you know, the point if you don't get any counterplay, and after bishop g5 I'm not sure you do, but okay.
And after knight d4, bishop f6, we felt that maybe.
I liked f4, I mean, I liked it too much not to play it, because I could just take and play bishop d4 and pretend I'm, you know, I'm slightly better.
Bishop f5?
Yeah. Let's say I go here.
Yeah,
Bishop f3, or what do
Four.
you normally do here?
yeah, I assumed queen f4, but it's not the, yeah, I mean, the problem with this position is that it's always very pleasant to play, but at the same time it's never the end of the world. Definitely.
Yeah, but you do get some pressure here.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think with what I did, I should get some pressure.
So f4, g6, and I mean bishop f3 also looks very
Yeah,
natural.
but I think g6 a little bit hard for me because first I want to play something like bishop d4 and bishop d4, f6, something like this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I miss something like bishop f3, bishop f7. This is my idea. I mean, when I play d5, bishop f6, but I miss c4.
Yeah, I
And
even thought I could just play bishop f2 and, you know.
I can play king c8, right?
Why can't take bishop a7 check or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on, king c8.
Yeah, but I don't know. I missed again.
But this could be a problem for you, maybe. Yeah, like queen c3, maybe queen f5.
No, this is.
But yeah, this is.
I mean,
You're not gonna get mated with the king on c8.
yeah, queen b4, queen b5.
Yeah.
But no, I was thinking.
But even if just
bishop f2.
Yeah, let's say bishop f2,
Yes.
and then c4 next move at
Yeah,
some point.
c4
Yeah.
is definitely on the table, but not immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, queen e3, queen c5, stuff like this.
Yeah, Kramnik won some very nice games on the white side from positions like this. I think. Yeah, it's not that easy for black
No,
generally.
You know, generally, if you get pair of bishops, you know, you welcome it, and then you think.
I
Yeah.
don't know. If I don't play g6, I'm not sure about bishop f5.
Where?
If I don't play g6.
Yeah,
f5.
bishop f5 here you wanted to take and queen g4.
No. Finally, I think you can play bishop knight c6.
No, but wait, I mean,
Takes
just
and g4.
because this is very critical.
Take.
And you don't have a square for your queen.
Yes,
Because
and
queen e6 would be the
king d7.
best square.
Queen d7, g5. I
Yeah,
guess,
g5.
No. I can play queen e4,
Queen e4, bishop d3,
queen f3,
and g5 again.
d4, and
d4 I just
or
take.
bishop c3. I'm not sure. Maybe bishop c3.
Bishop
yeah.
c3.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
Takes, I guess,
And
d4.
g4.
Yes. And
Yeah, this is
this could be
tricky variations to
No, I
evaluate
assume-
properly.
could be enough to equalize, but at the same time.
And you were worried about knight c6 here?
Yes,
Queen takes.
and g4.
Yeah, like this also.
Take bishop e4, g5, and come back, and queen d4,
Yeah, the
b6. But I can't calculate everything. Something like bishop a6. And I had some feeling, maybe I have some tactic, but bishop c5, he have queen
like
a4.
rook h2,
Yes,
Bishop
maybe.
back.
d3.
Hmm?
Bishop d3.
Bishop d3, bishop c5, queen g7. Yeah, and nothing seems
Nothing
to work. Yeah.
dramatic, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why if I want to play bishop c5, I should play bishop c5 first.
Okay.
But I don't know about queen a4, because if he play queen g7, take, then b5.
Like queen f6.
But maybe take c6, something like that.
Yeah, this is
C4?
curious position.
c4, a4, yeah.
a4 probably. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have rook h2 also.
Yeah, takes.
No, the rook h2
No,
rook
take,
h2.
takes,
maybe
takes.
bishop d3. Yeah.
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 Well, we're getting carried away a little
Yeah,
bit
well,
here. We should probably.
It's probably too much.
So bishop f5 was possible.
was
Probably
interesting,
was an
yeah.
interesting move. And after g6, why were you unhappy about g6?
Because, first I don't want to play g6. I mean, I'm afraid of something like knight c6, bishop d4. But I found bishop h4 is square.
Yeah.
Could you start?
Yeah, but I didn't want to row bishop f5 and
Bishop f5.
right away.
Immediately, yeah.
Yes.
and bishop e4 is next. You know, this
And you cannot stop it here, yeah.
probably not. No, the point is also, of course, I missed. I mean, at the moment I played bishop f3, I missed d4 at the end of the line. Then I saw it, but actually here it's very interesting at the bishop h4 because I was
Yeah, we thought you
considering
could play
rook e5.
rook e2 or rook
Rook
somewhere.
e2, queen d7, I didn't like it. So rook e5, I wanted.
Okay.
No, if queen d7, I might have f5 or even c4. You know, c4
Yeah, 5
maybe.
looks interesting, and also
c4 as well.
c4
Take and queen
takes.
b4.
Switch to kind of mating attack immediately, and
Yeah. It maybe doesn't work, but okay. at
looks interesting.
least the rook on e5 prevents queen b5.
So why didn't you do that?
Because of queen d6, but then maybe I should have considered b4. But yeah, it's always a hard move to make, but at the same time you don't have a knight, so b4 makes some sense.
Maybe b6.
Yeah, but there some b6 could be a bit too much. It might not be also. It
No,
might
Maybe
be
a
perfectly
5 in
fine.
some positions, and
No, after b4, maybe I can play something like queen c6, and you can't play b4 for the future. c4 for the future.
Yeah, but then
but you do get some pressure, and if the bishop goes back, then
Then rook e2.
Just you win a tempo. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I win quite important tempo because if I can get g4 in good conditions, I'm definitely slightly better.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about rook d3. I mean, rook d3 will come in. Yeah, of course I can play something like queen d6, queen d7, but I'm not sure which move I should play for now. Maybe.
No, I assumed queen d7.
Yeah, for now maybe bishop e5, so that's why.
Oh no, but also after rook e2 or rook e3, I thought maybe you have bishop f5 and bishop e4 again. I mean, especially after rook e2.
This is what we're trying to calculate. Takes, you have to take with the queen.
Bishop d5 first. Bishop d5 first.
Yeah, rook takes.
Rook takes?
Ah, sorry.
It's the same position, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
This is how you hold, yeah.
No.
But
Bishop
maybe
f5,
maybe I
c4.
have c4, yeah.
c4, yes.
Yeah, c4, bishop e4. But no, I
C
think.
takes d5. Yeah, this probably will be very good for you. Yeah.
Yeah,
This will work out
that's-
tactically.
That might be an understatement.
Yeah, so we were
Also
looking.
after queen d5.
Hang on. Queen d5. No, shouldn't work. Bishop e4. Rook e4. Bishop a7.
King takes.
Oh no, I'm losing a rook here. Yeah? Sorry.
A bishop.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, this is curious, but this is what we were discussing. There was the one point where we were concentrated
because
on
I
your
don't have
game.
rook d3. You can just take on g4.
Yeah. So maybe this was playable. But
But rook I mean, if I had played on basically and not rook d4, I would have played rook e5 and b4 almost for sure.
okay. So and in the game you basically missed this tactic with d4.
I missed it when I played bishop f3, but here I had seen it, of course. I just wasn't confident enough to go for rook e5, b4.
Fair enough. And yeah, and after that the game is just completely equal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we switched back to your game somewhere around here, and we were very confident predicting that the game will be finished soon. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so generally, like a normal knight c3 Petrov, yeah, you need to be extremely precise to get a little bit of something, and if you make a slight mistake somewhere, everything gets equalized. Yeah, I guess.
I felt I was playing interesting moves up to some point, yeah, but
Yeah, this looked reasonably promising for you, but then like 5 moves later, the game is completely equal. So all it takes is one small inaccuracy, I guess.
yeah, definitely. No, also I wasn't sure after g6 whether I couldn't switch to knight takes e6, but yeah,
F takes.
and something like, I don't know, even maybe g4 I thought.
Let's take
Pawn takes, bishop takes.
Bishop takes.
bishop takes.
Yeah. But I thought after g4 maybe d4 immediately also works.
Could be c takes, knight takes, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. C3.
c3 knight
Oh, there's
takes.
92. Yeah. Yeah, this could work actually for black. c3, 92, and white cannot take on d7 twice because bishop takes c3, of course. So you are forced to take on e2 and then simply queen c6. And
Yeah,
I guess
that's
yeah,
true.
with this king on b2, it will never be very bad for black.
Yeah, that's more or less what I thought. I couldn't really about this.
Yeah. So a bit of a kind of a warm-up game, yeah, in some sense.
In some sense,
you
yeah.
feel like you were still feeling your way into the tournament. What about you? How do you feel playing in a tournament of this magnitude?
This tournament or this game?
Tournament in general. I think we covered this game enough. So how's your feeling? How are your
Of course,
feelings about?
I'm so happy this is my first time to get invitation at this kind of tournament. So I just want to try. Usually I play open tournament, so different style with the other strong grandmaster.
So what are your expectations?
Sorry?
What are your expectations? What do you think will happen?
I don't know.
That's what's exciting about it.
Yeah, I think that's the right attitude. But we wish you all the best, and we'll continue speaking to you as the tournament progresses. But yeah, I think this game was a game of very small margins, and in the end, I mean, the Petrov holds. The Petrov generally holds.
Yeah, of course, not always. As
Not always, but
There's always this one game where
Yeah.
you'll win, but yeah, in general, it's not easy, of course.
sure. Okay, thanks for your thoughts, and good luck with the tournament.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll find it, don't worry. So a small break, and we'll be back with Jan for with the remaining games of the round. Huh?
Welcome back to the show, everybody, and welcome back myself after not the most exciting game of the round so far. We're left with 4.
As usual, the amount of stuff these guys see, even in a position where it seems like the resources of both sides are extremely limited, and then they show you these long lines with sacrifices which are completely, even to think of this idea of playing bishop f4, queen e3, and bishop takes a6 if you were watching. Yeah, MVL was showing some ideas there which I honestly probably wouldn't have occurred to me and didn't occur to me as we were commentating on the structure. Yeah, not the most exciting game, at first glance, but lots of ideas get left behind, so to speak, because they rule them out themselves.
But we have plenty exciting games left. Anish Giri is close to winning, right?
Yeah, I think the promotion is in grave danger. The Chess 24 promotion.
We should bring that up. It's been costing us lots of money, so I'm happy if it's finally over until Anish wins a classical game. Whoever gets a premium membership and refers to Anish, sends a mail to support at Chess 24, gets, what was it, 30% off? We've been
3 month free or something.
Yeah, 3 month free. That's correct.
Yeah, I think that is about to run its course, because Pavel, after I guess some thought, after knight g4, he just went for a very, very unpleasant endgame. Let's put it mildly.
Yeah, we looked at this, but we sort of discarded it as not beautiful.
Yeah, we completely we concentrated almost exclusively on h takes g4 here, because we felt that, and maybe simply queen takes g4. Maybe Pavel felt he will get mated here, which could very well be true, even without the bishop on e5 in this position. Queen g6. Yeah, it's here. Maybe you can play queen d6, queen h6 or something. Yeah, but it's an ugly position to go for. Probably not a good position either. And so he went for simply h5 and bishop takes e4, giving up 2 pieces he took with the f rook. Knight f6, knight e4, and f6, at least locking in this bishop on h2 for the time being, but it will get out eventually.
White's pieces are untouchable, yeah? You do all this stuff, as Anish did. Starts with g4, now a4. I like a4, because if you don't do that, at least I have a plan. Might not do me any good either.
Sure. So the next phase of the game is quite obvious. White will play king f1, king e2, then he will eventually play bishop g1 and f3. Black will be forced to trade off the bishop on a7 for the bishop on g1. And then it will be the question of White opening something up on the queen side to win, because king side is effectively locked in.
Black probably has to go b6 at some point to stop knight to c5, and then you have to do something, some b4.
But Black has 0 counterplay. If he tries to open some files on the queen side himself, it will be just a way to speed up the conversion process more than anything else, I think. So Pavel will defend this valiantly, but his chances are not very good, I think. I think it's a very difficult position to hold.
Yeah, and using my body language doctor degree, we can see that Anish Giri sitting there, very straight, very focused, very confident. He's smelling his first win after his streak of 20 draws in a row. He's gonna be very excited. And it's also a position that's very much in his style, as well, could argue winning endgames are a most Super Grandmaster style, but he doesn't have to take any risks to convert, but just
Yeah, no, I think
take it nice and
he will do this efficiently, and I'll be quite surprised if this doesn't end in his victory.
played bishop e6, which doesn't change all that much.
I like this move quite a bit, because I think it makes Black's position even more unbearable, because it's very difficult to actually name a move he can go for. I mean,
Challenge it.
yeah, but then knight d6 becomes an option, rook d1 becomes an option. You kind of help white a great deal by moving your rook from the open file. So yeah, I like bishop e6, and Anish will take his time, because I mean he can improve his position for a while without committing to any one plan, and then he will start opening up files and squares for his pieces, and Black's position should generally collapse here.
Absolutely. And another position that's on the verge of collapsing, I thought, I haven't seen it for a while, frankly, but is Niels Grandelius's. He's suffering, right?
He is in trouble here, because the threat is not even rook takes b5 on knight takes e6 immediately. The threat, I think, is rook b7 check is the most important one, followed by knight takes e6, especially after, let's say, g takes f4, it gains in strength, because then the pawn on f4 will be taken with check by this knight. Although rook takes b3 check, I was probably wrong about that.
But you can just start with rook b5.
Then knight d6, knight f5, I get some jumps. Maybe they're not very important jumps there. But yeah, knight e6, knight h4 check. Game is not over yet. I mean, the material is limited, and it will still require some clean conversion from Vladimir, but he's...
It's not a skill he lacks.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good at this in particular, and yeah, I would rate his chances quite highly. How did this happen? He basically after knight c5, king f7.
And he's played e4.
Yeah, he went for this break. I was considering it whilst we were discussing this before, but I wasn't sure if it was any good, because it does give Black additional counterplay. Seemingly, it creates weaknesses in the white camp as well, but activating the d2 knight was probably the more important factor here. He needed to include that piece in play, and he did by playing e4.
Problem for Black is still he's stuck with his knight on e8, which is
if you sort of magically move it from e8 to d5, Black, Black might start playing for a win, but not in this position. Knight c5, and the knight is still locked in, and Vladimir with his rook b6 in particular illustrates just how slowly he can take it here. I mean, he's showing completely, zero reaction to g7, g5.
Yeah. So he's a big favorite to win this. And another guy who I thought was a big favorite, even though it's a complicated position still, is Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, I think...
So what happened? I haven't seen it for a while, at least. Bishop c5 we saw coming, queen a5 played by Harry.
This one we missed, but Magnus's reaction was very much in keeping with what we were saying about the position in general. Even if Black manages to win this pawn back, he is still in a lot of trouble strategically. Before h6 is a very understandable move, because you need to secure your king's position at some point. Queen
e3. Touch of class there. I'm not sure I would have done this. I would have been afraid of this.
Yeah, I think you probably need to take on e3 here. I have a feeling not doing this was
e3 is such a big concession after that. Why isn't control?
Yeah.
Is this so easy?
No, I think he should have done that. He's still in a lot of trouble here, because bishop h3 is a huge threat here, and you might lose the c file. So maybe he was actually justified in trying to keep it more alive than this, but it's.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
But the thing is, after queen b7, which is what Hari played instead, after bishop h3, his position starts looking very, very dangerous.
For c7, you get pinned.
I think you play after queen c5, you might run out of moves. b5 is just a huge threat. So rook e8, queen c3, Black loses control over the c file, has to make a very unpleasant move, knight e7, knight d4, and strategically White is completely dominant, which is why Black is now playing for tactical tricks. Queen a6, hitting the pawn on a3. f3 drives the knight away. Knight g5, bishop d7.
f3 also pretty committal decision, though. To weaken your second rank, you gotta be sure what you're doing.
But I think Magnus feels that bishop d7 should just be close to winning.
Wrap it up, yeah?
But after rook d8, how do you actually win here? Bishop b5, queen f6. Yeah, queen f6. But maybe he wants to play something like h4 here. Why is h4 not winning on the spot?
No one said it wasn't.
Oh no, knight h7. Yeah, I forgot about this square altogether. I thought I was actually capturing this knight.
Ain't over yet. Of course, it's bad.
I can play bishop c6 and win a pawn, but that's probably not
Who wants
enough.
a pawn?
Yeah, no, nobody wants the d5 pawn. If it's just if it's the only thing we win here, we want more. So let's put h4 back and consider white's options.
Let's put Magnus on the screen. I need to use my body doctor skills again. Harry's in deep calculation. Yes, he should be. And Carlson looks relaxed. He's calculated something.
Yeah, but we
Clock
would
is
like.
running. He has
Yeah,
7 minutes left.
He's done the 7 minutes. Then we probably should stick with this one for a while because it's very interesting to see how he converts from here.
I'll cheat for a moment. Ask a computer opinion, but yeah, nothing. Immediate h4 as played. And white is much better, but no material gone yet. Computer just gives a4 or moves like that, keeping control.
Yeah, it
Might
actually
be very
makes sense.
unpleasant,
Yeah,
'cause here.
and h4 Hare Krishna. Maybe he also
took on f3.
maybe he also forgot h7 existed because he played knight takes f3 straight away.
What is this? It's a piece.
Probably queen a3 is his idea, I guess.
Just to take some pawns.
Yeah, but that will not work out well for him, I think. The trick, I suppose, is if white plays knight d4, he wants to go rook takes d7 and start giving plenty of checks.
Not
Which
sure you have enough checks here.
even this might not be enough, but yeah, you probably want to look for a cleaner solution than this with white. Something like
exist
king g2.
Yes, looks.
I like king g2. If queen b2 check, I will just play rook d2.
Takes.
Yeah, you can take on b4, but then once I occupy the d4 square, I think the initiative will fizzle out very soon.
Yeah, we have 3 pawns, but it's not the most
No,
united
yeah,
workforce.
white will just overwhelm you with he has more pieces. It actually does matter. So I think if you move the pawn from a7 to e6, it's a different story. But with the pawns as broken up as they are, I think white is a huge favorite here too.
Looked like Magnus was getting ready to play king g2, but then he changed his mind and he's making some faces, deciding on which move to play. 5:45, but yeah, not serious time trouble over here.
What else is there?
Well, you can go rook c3,
Rook
but
c3,
it
rook
looks less
d7.
harmonious.
No, rook c3, rook d7.
Oh, it's a
is-
blunder, actually.
Yeah, that actually is impossible.
Let's point that out.
Yeah. If rook c3 was an actual move, he would have made it by now. But yeah, he does go king g2. We expect Hari to take on b4 because there's
Gotta limit the number of pawns at least.
yeah, there's not very much else available, I think, or at least none that I can see. I mean, you can include queen b2 check, rook d2, and then take on b4, but I don't really see what that achieves.
It's not much, but that's what he must be thinking about.
Well, it stops knight d4 because the rook on d2 will be hanging, so maybe it is a valid argument.
And I can still blunder with rook c2.
Yeah, rook c2, rook d7 is the same tactic, so
So it's maybe a better practical chance at least.
yeah. But I can play king h3. I mean, if push comes to shove, I can actually start with king h3 here.
Yeah. But nothing wrong with rook d2.
No, rook
right?
d2, queen b4, and some move. Sorry, like, I don't know, bishop h3 or something. Just secure this piece, play queen c5 next, and then start converting, because most endgames will be completely lost here, because black will lose his pawns
These
one after
pawns
the
will
other.
Drop
Yeah.
like flies.
Yeah, these two are goners, and then it will be 3 against 2. And if a lot of pieces get exchanged, those sometimes are tricky. But yeah, and queen b2 check has been played, so
What's Magnus gonna do? I don't know, king h3 feels a little loose. Probably nothing wrong with it either.
not really. I think
I like this
I
knight
think
hanging.
it's safe enough. But you don't need to if you don't want to.
Choices.
Rook d2 is a more human move.
Yeah, he's
And
gonna go rook d2.
Queen takes b4, and in this position, yeah, it's a question of taste, I think, more than anything else.
Didn't he play queen takes before?
No, I mean White's next move is a matter of taste.
Yeah, no. Trying to get my usual b4 jokes in, but that one didn't work.
Rook e1 might be a move, putting some pressure on the black position as well, making it awkward for black to make moves. But yeah, I think just removing the bishop from d7 to free up your queen and make the queen, the trade of queens becomes almost inevitable once the bishop is away from d7.
Yeah. Magnus Carlsen with very good chances to break his streak of not winning first round games. I've seen it this morning, I forgot already, but the last time he won a first round was in 2014, so quite a while back considering how many tournaments he played. Yeah.
That is an impressive bit of statistics. How much time does Hare Krishna have here?
I can't read. I can read over there. 4 minutes 30 seconds, and Vasilin Topalov has left the building. So has Levon Aronian, which indicates their game is over. And
yeah,
it says draw, so they probably drew.
Yeah, that would be a safe assumption here, I think. Eventually all the pieces came off, and this rook endgame is not particularly exciting. So we might get some guess. And Anish actually won. The final
already? Wow.
Yeah, the final position is a bit weird. I don't know how this rook got to c5.
The Laska rook.
Yeah, it didn't really work particularly well in this case.
Pavel sort of lost patience and forced issues with rook c5, which...
Yeah, I think he just got...
I think he missed knight d2 back. He was probably expecting b3, b5.
Yeah.
And whatever.
Even here, knight takes a5 probably wins on the spot, but yeah, knight d2 followed by bishop g1 is very efficient.
Very cute.
So, the promotion is over, folks.
Congratulations, Anish Giri. Shows that he drew some conclusions, not just some games, after the candidates.
Very true.
And wins his first round here against Pavel Elyanov.
And a very, very impressive game, I have to say. After a somewhat slow beginning, he navigated his way through a very unclear and a position with a lot of options for both sides. He took his time and found the correct plan of bringing the knight from c2 to g4, which we missed here, for instance.
I still dislike. Okay, yeah, we can ask them, but knight f6 just feels wrong to me.
Yeah, knight f6 felt like a decision which was perhaps slightly hasty, but yeah, Anish's reaction to it, I think, was, or at least it seems, at a somewhat cursory glance, because we can't really concentrate too much on one game here. It feels like he treated it very, very well, and deserved victory for him today.
Looks like he really found a niche in the opening with his bishop c4 stuff, because bishop b5, knight f6 is just so safe.
Well played. I appreciated that one. So, what's happening in the Kramnik-Grandelius game? Seems like
checkmate.
Yeah, it's.
And Vasilin Topalov is joining us. He's good at checkmating, so he can tell us. Levon is also there, so I think I'm going to vacate my.
Maybe let's swap for the time being.
All right.
I'll let you take this one.
Come on in. We're now being joined by former world champion and very sharp dresser Vasilin Topalov. Vasilin, what happened in your game?
I thought it was kind of equal, more or less, most of the time. I mean, it's a very positional game, and I believe that the way I played was quite solid. And for example, here the idea is that if White goes here, I'm always trying to attack his rook.
Rook d5 never works.
I thought I thought it was kind of equal. Because if he takes, we exchange all, and I thought it was just equal. And of course, if he goes somewhere else to, for example, here, then I do the same. Basically, my idea is to jump, either to jump on d4 with the knight, or to play e4. So it's the rook on
Yeah, I
c1.
didn't like rook c3.
Levan Aronian is also with us. Levan, can you pick up one of the microphones?
And after knight d2, I thought it's pretty
Yeah, I
much
should play
equal.
knight d4 here, of course. I mean, it's ridiculous what I
But okay,
play.
you're also giving a pawn, no? I can take on e2 and take
Knight
with the
f6,
and take with the g pawn or not?
queen g4.
Ah, sorry. No, of course, yeah, that is true. No, this is just losing, of course. Yeah.
No, I was calculating
No, but I mean, I don't
mainly
see a reason.
b5, queen b4, and knight
No.
takes e2. I wasn't so sure.
But if I just go bishop e7, what's my
Queen
problem?
e1.
And then c5, you can take. So
Bishop
it's
e7, queen e1,
queen,
c5.
c5, and then looks
Okay.
very nice somehow.
Takes, this wins a piece.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's not a big miss then.
So the position in the game was roughly equal around here.
I guess so.
I actually thought that black can never have any problems. I mean, in
Yeah,
this
actually,
structure,
this kind of structure is,
he only can be better.
but maybe I was too early to push.
I really didn't want to play b4, of course. I mean, b4 is not a move to play. You normally want to attack with the rook from b4.
But I thought rook c5, rook f5 is not really.
It
good
was
idea.
not, because you can play g6 here, even.
Yeah, of course. But
Queen d3, rook b8. I didn't understand what I'm
no,
doing.
it's just.
You have an easy play because my rooks are somehow not getting where they need to be. b4 and
Yeah, but even on f5, it's not really. I thought I could go rook e6, bishop e7, and then instead of g6, I mean, even rook e6 is a good move, I thought.
yeah. So
So it's not really.
the continuation was basically very boring up to the point when you played f5. This was very ambitious.
Just a brief interruption. Several games have finished. Vladimir Kramnik has won his game. Anish Giri has won his game. People are over there celebrating Anish's big victory, and he looks happy. So they're gonna be back here after this game. So f5 and then g5. Do you
No,
like
that's
pushing your pawns too much
that's
sometimes?
quite a typical move, I guess. But maybe I could start with the h5 or many moves like. But I was at some point I thought White had a plan to just sack a pawn with
That's
b5.
what I thought. That's what I
And
thought.
then, but of course here also I could somehow. I
Yeah,
thought-
maybe h5 was a good move here for you.
Yeah, but then,
I suggested h5. I said Veselin
Yeah, of
likes to
course.
push his pawns. He's gonna go h5. But
yeah, it was.
Peter was making fun of
an
me.
option. No, it was a good option maybe. Yeah, but f5 I somehow.
I still have to move my knight back. I mean, there is not much for me to do.
But anyway, I believe you should first wait for. No, even maybe you just go h4 now, after h5, and I was not sure that.
f5, f4.
Yeah, but then.
Takes, huh?
Yeah, the knight goes to f3, so it's well. Or it is.
Maybe knight e4. I'm
Yeah.
fine.
Thought it was
Yeah,
clear.
maybe. Yeah, well,
more double-edged. Huh?
but the g5, I mean, is very typical.
It is quite typical, actually.
And I thought what I did made looked okay. I mean, I'm not fighting for any advantage. I'm trying to equalize. So
In fact, here, yeah,
I thought you were going to after g4 take and play queen d5 and rook e7. But what you did is also perfectly fine.
yeah, but then rook e7. What I was afraid is sometimes, of course, you can protect the pawn on c5, and then also it's rook can go to c4. So I didn't like.
I mean,
rook
h5, it's still
yeah, but
equal.
then you just go knight g2, knight f4, and rook c4.
And you always have those queen e5 moves.
That is true, but
Even now, you know, queen e5, rook c2, f4.
well, but what is exactly f4 if you just go?
Well, f3 is threat.
Maybe.
Knight g2, f3. Yeah?
Maybe.
Knight g2.
Knight f4, bishop g5. Yeah, that is
Yeah,
true.
who knows?
That is true.
So you had to be careful all the way, Levon.
Yeah, I was really unhappy with my position. I thought I did some mistakes. And then b5 was, of course, not necessary at all. I mean, a sane person would play rook c1, bishop f4, gf, rook d5, rook c5, queen f4, and rook d5, b5 with a draw.
Yeah.
So when did you lose your sanity?
I don't know. I mean, I'm normally insane in the first round of the tournament. In every tournament, that's my time, my spring, as they say.
Yeah, b5, actually it looked very kind of typical to break and to open the position, but then I just took...
If you take with the rook, what happens? Queen a2?
Check. What I didn't like was that...
So king g7.
No, I thought take 96, take on g5 and queen f7.
Yeah.
So I thought only white can
I at
try
least have
to
a
win.
draw, yeah.
I mean...
Because I have those h4
some
ideas.
h4 tricks. You know?
Some checkmates.
So...
Because we thought only black could be better with the b pawn, but the king is just too bad.
Really, not really. Because also queen g7, d4 is coming,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Doesn't look good for black.
Yeah, maybe it's still equal, but who
No
knows?
need. And then in the game, it just fizzled out.
Well, the question was, well, I think it was a good move to go back, yeah? Because
I thought you would, yeah, I had to do it. I thought you would play something like queen e7 here.
was there a difference if I queen e7 now?
Maybe queen g8 as well.
Yeah, I thought this was...
Yeah, I mean, there always has to be some counterplay for me, I have a feeling.
So
The
you
king is so weak.
didn't get...
I mean,
b4, yeah.
yeah,
But now maybe some knight d5 is there,
yeah,
you never know.
I was not so impressed.
So, yeah, what?
Even h4 sometimes is possible.
Yeah, after gf, I thought you want to play some rook d5 here. I thought that was your idea.
But then
queen a8.
still should be...
Yeah, it should be.
I mean, the rook
enough.
on d5 is like defensive. It's not...
Yeah, and I guess in time trouble you don't really want to
Yeah.
play this position with black.
No, but also, I mean, you just try to recover now the pawn, so it's...
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why white is worse. I thought queen e6 was very clean move.
Yeah, I thought this was
Forcing the draw.
Yeah. This is the right way.
So bad opening for you, but then you played well enough to not get into big trouble.
Yeah, I think I won't say it's a bad opening. I mean, then all the English.
I've been telling you for years you should play one d4. This give up the center with
Yeah.
c4. And Vaseline, are you happy to regain some stability, sort of?
Well, more or less. That's like the best game I played for long.
Beautiful.
So okay, it's a good start.
And yeah, congratulations on your play and best of luck to both of you in the
Thank you.
tournament. I think I'm gonna vacate my chair because I'm a little afraid of Anish. Even though I'm a big fan of the guy, I've had to make too many jokes during the candidates, so he might have heard some of those and he might not speak to me anymore. That's why I'm gonna leave you guys, and Peter Svidler is gonna be here with Anish Giri and Pavel Elyanov to take them through Anish's first win of the tournament. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So these press conferences will be coming thick and fast now because the round suddenly finished in its entirety, and we now have with us Anish Giri and Pavel Elyanov. Their game finished in White's victory. It was a very interesting tactical position at some point.
Yes, I think Black has a lot of options after. I mean, in this kind of positions, you know. Of course, I have my trumps. He weakened his king side, but I have a very bad bishop on g3, so it's very unbalanced position with a huge amount of options. I was surprised. I don't know, pleasantly or unpleasantly. I was surprised with the idea knight h5, knight f6, because natural move here is knight e3, and then knight h5, knight f4, yeah?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and black is okay, I thought. It was not so easy for me to see what I'm doing. So I thought this was clever to go on d4 after knight h5.
But what happens if he continues with knight f4 anyway? Why didn't you...
Yeah, well, that's what I expect, of course. That's the most natural move.
I'm not sure whether it's really a good square for my knight, because also knight is vulnerable. Probably.
How exactly?
I don't know, maybe bishop f1 some point.
And g3, yeah, there was an idea, but even after that, the bishop on h2 is. I was wondering even what is the evaluation of takings?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's also
don't
not
know.
clear. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe gf
And bishop
maybe
d5 or
bishop
something, yeah?
Exactly.
It looks also okay for
Queen
white
f6.
at least, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it was
very
like-
strange
I mean,
structures,
this
yeah.
bishop on a7 could is actually very annoying. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's locked for now, but it's constantly eyeing my. Yeah, I mean, it's there, and maybe bishop h5, king h8, rook g8. I think the position is very playable. But I was happy at least I have d4. I have some pressure on the center. Yeah, this surprised me, and I spent so much time because I originally missed that I don't have to take on e5 back, which would be
What happens here?
rook e8. I think is very strong, and I don't have bishop d4 because of c5, and otherwise I have to. Okay, knight g4 is possible, but that's probably just playing for a draw. After bishop f2 even. So I was very unhappy here, and it took me a huge amount of time to realize that I actually have other moves like bishop d5, which is probably strong, knight g4 also, but I think bishop d5 here is strong. Yeah, and once I realized that,
This I didn't like.
yeah, knight d7, something like this, and suddenly this bishop knight g4, knight d7 also.
Yeah,
is
this
tactic.
this looks very promising for you.
Yeah, so suddenly I realized that my position is great, but I spent so much time on my last two moves for some reason. Here, yeah, this was.
And this is
critical moment.
this is the critical moment, probably. Yeah.
If I go queen c2, which is also interesting, it's king h7. I think it's strong. And the trick is that here black has knight f2, and it's very, at least it's very nice.
Nice geometrical
Yeah,
idea.
yes, it's a nice idea.
Okay.
And I have also other move here. I don't remember which one, but it's I wasn't a fan of this. And rook d1, of course, is a move here, but I wasn't so clear to me. Knight d6 even, I don't know.
What did you think the evaluation was after 95g pile?
After 95.
Well, like this position, what did you feel?
position.
Yeah, what did you feel the situation
It's
was?
unclear, but okay, maybe a bit dangerous for black. And
Because in the limited time we had available, we worked out nothing at all here. We couldn't understand anything at all. So
I
I'm
think
very.
the thing is, it's just extremely concrete. I mean,
it's
it
concrete,
could be
yeah.
like lost after knight g4, but could also be equal because of some strong move, which I
Could
think
be,
is king
okay.
h7.
yeah, king h7 it was.
It's power suggestions. Wait a second, do I have bishop?
Let's
yeah,
just demonstrate why the same idea doesn't work. Because we for some reason thought
the same
it wasn't.
idea obviously
Yeah.
is a worse version for white
No,
because
you can't.
No,
you need to take on
can't
d8
because
first.
it's-
take on d8.
Yeah, probably it's.
No, it's just. I mean, it doesn't work because of
just
f5.
bad for
Yeah,
white.
just
Yeah.
f5.
5 and knight g3, rook d2. Yeah, you might be
so this
lost,
is of
yeah.
course, but that's not the point. I have a lot of different, a lot of moves here. First of all, bishop e5, f5 has to be checked. But my intuition tells me that white is playing for advantage here, and white is not worse. But if I'm better, it has to be calculated. Bishop d.
Bishop d3.
Knight f2
Knight f2
again.
actually is once again playable. Yeah?
Killer, yeah. Bishop d5 is also an option.
F5 also.
F5, yeah,
bishop
I was thinking that I could play this position, of course, but it's not a big deal. It's probably just okay.
It's probably
Probably.
close to equal.
Although it's still maybe
Queen
not so
e7
pleasant.
maybe.
Yeah, queen c, yeah, it's maybe okay. Yeah.
Should be okay. Yeah.
Yes, king h7 was a good move actually.
And the problem is, yes, I must just
But I was
overestimate my
thinking-
position. And then
I was
then
thinking, yeah, because endgame is very bad. I was thinking your idea is to go
But even
h8.
queen takes g4 might be very strong here.
Not sure. Queen e4?
No, why just
No, rook g4.
Rook g4
Rook
is.
g4,
not just
and
take, yeah, with the rook.
the thing is that my endgame is very good for me because here
I'm not in time, probably.
I have bishop takes e5,
Yeah.
which is very nice. I vacate h2 square, and there are so many tricks. Like for example, I was just brainstorming. Like let's say if he runs after my pawns, somehow like that. There is even an extra tactic here, just
Bishop f7.
bishop f7 at some point. Yeah, so there are so many things hanging. Yeah, this is just good for white. The queen f6, I think I have queen d2.
And you just want to take on g5 next move regardless.
Yeah, I guess something like something like that. I
Bishop
will
F-
allow you to take on f2, and then just gonna crush you there. I think it looks good for white. Because this endgame, the key is that black is not in time to go f5.
Yeah,
because of knight g5 there is a fork. And there's also bishop e5 check and everything. And here, once I have g4,
yeah, no, this position is quite clearly
nothing black can do.
Yeah.
I think it's possible to put much better resistance than the game. I think it's very hard to win. If let's say black were to put up, not to lose a pawn. I mean, even here. Yeah, okay, here is uncomfortable because I'm attacking the a pawn, and I might even want to go knight b3, c4, c5, and then bishop g1, bishop e3, and just I thought h4 was unnecessary. Let's say, I'll just take a gh maybe. Yeah?
I don't know, but you probably didn't feel like this was a particularly. I don't know. From the outside, it looked like this will be a lot of suffering.
Yeah,
and
but
probably
I just spoiled so many winning positions that I know that I could have spoiled this one had he played better. But not.
So what's your viewpoint on all this, Pavel? Because I just made two very bad decisions today. First of all, I didn't repeat all this variation at home. And the second one, of course, I clearly overestimated this in game. I thought it should be okay enough for a draw, but it's just very, very much unpleasant. And probably it's close to.
This is what we thought, that you should eventually, you can't really hold this position, we felt.
The second option was king h7, but I thought it should be, okay, white maybe has something, but maybe black should hold this one.
Yeah, so basically it all really came down to one critical position and one decision, So.
I must say I was really not sure of what's going on, and I was not at all feeling all that confident about the position, but fortunately for me.
No, but this is one of those positions where the price of the move is so high that so basically,
absolutely,
more or less one bad move and you're gone.
Yeah, by either side.
Yeah. So a nice start for you for this turn. Who do you have tomorrow?
I play vachier-lagrave with white.
Okay, so we'll. Since all the game finished at once, we'll
give the guys
we'll let you go, and thanks for coming in and explaining to us something about this game, because we were completely lost here in the booth. It's a very difficult position to navigate.
Yeah, but we didn't contribute much because we both had no clue either.
Yeah. And thanks for coming in, and we'll continue talking to you during the tournament, and good luck with the rest of it.
Thank you.
And you have one over there, somewhere, yeah. Повесь эту штуку. We live? Okay, so, and we are back with the stream of consciousness that is developing here, because all the games finished at once and we are in slight disorder here. But Vladimir Kramnik won his first round game against Niels Grandelius. A nice technical win from you, although it didn't at one point look so bad for black, but I guess the pressure was always kind of increasing slowly. So tell us what you think were the critical moments.
Well, I mean, I don't know this opening. I'm not sure it's so great, this idea of f4. I remember I had it in mind somehow, just trying to use it. I didn't play knight f3 yet, but okay, cd is a good way to play, and I think a3 is not the right move. I just played it, with a hand, but maybe I should have started with knight f3, but I was a bit concerned about knight b4 then. It's pretty equal. It's very little for anyway. Yeah, first of all, there are some jumps, but I mean, in general, something like bishop d7.
But you can return then a3.
Yeah, but knight a6 and then queen b7, bishop b5, maybe even this strange way. Also, I was not sure about queen a6 move. I was not completely sure about this. And knight b3, bishop a4. I don't know if it works. I had this
very curious idea.
I don't know if it works or not, but if it works, it would be
Yeah, would be good.
probably
Would be good for black. Yeah.
pretty equal. Yeah. So I mean, I decided okay, just to play 3, but then of course I'm missing important tempi. So 97 is a good move, and okay, I think it's just completely nothing for white. I spent some time trying to consider playing g4 here, but it looks a bit too much. So knight f3, queen b6. I thought also knight f5 was perfectly fine.
Probably even easier.
Queen e2, queen b6. Yeah, that was.
Now I get my idea with knight d6, bishop d7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe this was.
Yeah. Okay. At least I get my knight on e5 at some point. I mean, maybe I can still sort of pretend a little. I mean, this position.
96 and start the pawn storm or?
Would be nice, but I don't see how. Really.
I mean, with bishop b5 coming, it's very unlikely.
Yes. It's okay. No, maybe still, yeah, because bishop takes and g5 at least, yeah, at least.
I might even consider taking with the queen.
Well, I just don't like that you can even move away like rook d8 and then g5, knight e4 maybe. But okay, this was good enough. But queen b6 is also good. I didn't like playing queen b3, but somehow couldn't see anything real. Okay, I was thinking about sacrificing a pawn, but it's quite poor. I mean, okay, there's not so much. I mean, the idea was some queen e1, maybe g4, but well, you know, it's very easy to end up simply pawn down and to lose a game. So it was not really.
I wasn't too worried about.
But okay, queen b3. I saw that okay, this endgame is basically just equal. No, because I thought knight f5 was the simplest way actually. King e2. And now there is some knight g4, but it's a bit tricky. I mean, I'm not sure it makes sense. So I just thought knight d6 or bishop d7 first. I think it's basically just equal. I mean, simply this, and okay, I have some nominal plus, very nominal, but rook c8 next, bishop e8, and okay, shake hands more or less. So, I mean, okay, I think Niels here just played a couple of moves
I played a bit too fast here, I think,
out of general considerations. But strangely enough, I think here still knight f5, but after king e2 there is some pressure. I mean, all of a sudden black cannot really keep so easily the C line. I mean, I still don't believe there is anything special
rook
here.
f8.
Rook f8. Of course, I was calculating the bishop a6 takes bishop
knight e8. I think.
Knight e8.
Yeah, knight e8.
No, knight e8. I think it doesn't work. Knight e5. This I thought bishop c8, bishop b5, knight d6, rook c7. No, this was very dangerous. I thought. But and after king f8, maybe even a4. I mean, black is kind of
tied up. Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem was actually bishop c8 here. Here I was trying.
I thought bishop b5 maybe.
Bishop b5, knight f5. Yeah. I was not. I mean, it looks a bit, of course, tricky, but looks a bit dangerous. But I didn't see how to make use of it. I had some ideas here, but
bishop d3
even had an idea to play a4. Yeah, but I thought maybe bishop d3.
Here instead.
Yeah, after knight bishop c8, which is the right move, maybe to go to d3, which is looking strange. And now knight e8, because knight f5 is out the tempo already. And now the plan was to play knight e5, maybe if it works.
f6.
Yeah, okay, f6 at least I sort of weakened something, maybe, no? No, not really.
Not really.
Maybe f6, bishop b5.
No, that loses a piece. That's bishop a6 check.
Yeah, no, but then, okay, my idea was to play some rook c7. I mean, I don't know if this might work by.
But first I start with f6. It's my move.
Yeah.
No. Instead of knight e5. Sorry, I was thinking that okay, bishop knight d6, rook c7.
But you lose the.
Then I will lose my. The point is that I thought, of course, knight e5, and then I calculated actually, f6 is probably quite all right. But I thought if now knight d6, and now by bishop b7, then now bishop b5.
Yeah, this could work.
This can work somehow. I don't know. Yeah, okay, it's still, but I mean, this was a principal try. It's a little dangerous for black, I understand. If it doesn't work, I mean, black loses a C line, it can really end up badly, but I don't know. I didn't really see
much
any.
More principle, because what I did, it's just
knight
a bit
c8 is passive. I mean, okay, now white has a pleasant plus, in my opinion. I mean, knight e5. Okay, knight d6 is just takes rook c6 is very unpleasant.
Yeah, this is not fun anymore.
Yeah, but it's not fun anyway, probably already. But here I had many ways. Even I was considering g4 maybe, but okay, b3. Okay, I played in the most logical way here. Now the problem is that if rook c1, then I didn't like rook d8 actually. No, that's the point. I mean, because
But what if knight fe8?
knight fe8, I thought here a5 is quite strong. It's stronger actually.
Maybe.
And ba rook a6, I go with this rook and knight comes to 6 or to c5. I mean, this I would, but I didn't like rook dc8. I mean, and now I don't see how to. I mean, okay, you want king knight a8 and f6. Okay, I'm still pressing a bit, but it's so I decided to try to push a5.
And here was another
Knight
critical moment. Knight e4 maybe, but after a5, f6, a takes b6, it looks like it's a bit of a. I mean,
Actually, knight d3 was perfect, but I thought that fe. You mean
you played ab6 so fast.
Yeah, but here I thought it was very nice.
Knight b5,
knight b5, rook a5,
a6, and
a6.
just take on a6.
No, b4. I think is very good, and knight getting to c5. I mean, this was my idea.
Way too dangerous.
No, I mean the thing is that I guess rook a8 because if knight gets to c5, it's just done. Rook a8 and now rook c5. That was my plan. And now just knight b3, rook a6, and somehow I don't see you're not in time to take the pawn.
Yeah, this knight on the 8 is completely
dead. Yeah, that was my idea, because otherwise it could have been not so bad, but I think that this before knight b3, knight c5 is strong, because taking on a6 was not so easy, somehow I thought. So, no, I think ab is right. Okay, knight d7 is more principled than knight d3, obviously, b5. Yes, okay, white is pressing, obviously, but still not so. Maybe g4 was... I could consider.
Also, you could include rook a2, king d3, which maybe would have been easier for you later.
Yeah,
you mean after? But when? You mean here?
Yeah, here, for instance.
Yeah, but then I thought that after g4 you should go rook a1, rook h1. I thought maybe here you're kind of losing a tempo if I just start pushing pawns.
I was more worried about g4 than e4.
Yeah.
But then it turns out e4 is maybe quite.
Me too. I actually planned to play g4, but then I saw some strange e4 option, and So I was not sure. Maybe you will lose a tempo with rook a2, so it's difficult to say. And here, yes, I mean, my first intention was just to play g4.
Let's say king e7.
No, I think
rook
you don't
a1,
need rook a1. You need quite quickly counterplay. I think h4, maybe an h5, and at some point maybe f. I don't know. Yeah, but it's difficult to break serious. I mean, you start to attack pawns probably at some point.
Rook g1.
But but the thing is that I thought maybe at some point I can just try to sort of mate you. I mean, no, I mean like rook a6 takes h5, something, and then rook a7 is coming.
I mean, my knights are very bad here.
Yeah, I mean that's something like that, and then rook a7, knight e6. I mean, I don't know. But
it's very very dangerous. I think.
It's quite that, but I didn't like actually for move, and I still have a feeling that maybe black has some defense here. But I couldn't really see how. I mean, because
somebody asked me. We didn't really see it because we were going through this very fast. But somebody asked me while we were.
No, I mean, I thought actually, just a couple of lines. First of all, I was considering rook a2 and knight f5. I was calculating. I mean, just to, but I think it works. I mean, I was really afraid to blunder something here. I mean, but it's
knight
knight h4, king g3, knight g2, and I thought here different ways. But I thought maybe knight c3 is the most. Convincing.
And knight takes b5 after rook c2.
Or even knight d5. And after, if rook b2, maybe knight c5. Okay, somehow I control.
Yeah, you keep.
Yeah. So I thought, or even here knight d5. I thought, just to cut your knight. I mean, and then somehow my knights are. But so knight e4. Takes. Rook a7, rook d8, the different moves.
No, but the concrete question is rook a2 check, king f3, rook b2, knight c5, and here rook d2.
Yeah, rook d2 I saw, but it looks difficult. I mean, somehow I thought even knight e6, check in goes, takes an f5, for example.
Yeah, it's
g4, and then I start to enter somehow. It's scary.
It's very scary.
Maybe computer holds somehow. This guy, can hold anything. But in general, this something like this, take check in d5, rook b8. I don't know. Looks really scary.
Yeah, looks very scary.
So I thought I didn't calculate it till then. In fact, maybe it works. But I thought, okay, if Niels dares to play it, okay, I will start calculating. But maybe because otherwise somehow it's
panicky, very, of course.
But it's because I actually thought f5, but it somehow doesn't seem to work. Because after this I have very important check and somehow just pawns and the e6 pawn is also collapsing and black seems to have very nice pieces, but I don't see knight d5, knight e6. I couldn't see maybe
knight g4.
Knight g4, what's the idea? You want some checks.
I want to start for at least attacking something on the king side.
Well,
But probably not
still,
enough,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
Just
even
take
take
an
and
E6,
king to h3,
Yeah.
yeah, probably. I mean, still.
Sure.
Or rook b6 was also interesting, yeah, to take with a rook on
Yes.
it. Maybe rook b6 is even better. Yeah,
Even here, I'm just a pawn down, no?
yeah, it's
sure.
still a pawn, yeah, I mean.
No, I'm just looking for chances.
Yeah,
with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, G5. I saw the few ways to play, but I actually calculated. I think I did the right. I did it right way, but of course, computer. Maybe all people now are laughing at me because probably computer says it's wrong. But I mean, somehow it seems that it works quite well because. I mean, it's quite.
What if
just
rook b3
now-
here?
No, rook b3, king f4, and okay, knight f8 is threatening. I mean, simply mate,
yeah.
mate is coming. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a problem, yeah. And
No, Gf is probably a mistake, but anyway,
yeah,
it's
but
very
okay, g4
dangerous.
check, but
Yeah.
it's pretty bad. I thought
G4 or
maybe
knight
G4.
G7, but it's also.
Yeah, it was. I mean, then already FG.
Yeah.
And then check knight d7, knight d5. I mean,
Yeah,
everything
this-
is.
this is
yeah,
very,
but no, but here it just doesn't work just by one tempi. I mean, knight d6 was possible, but then I think I was. What was my plan after knight d6? I think rook d7.
Yeah, rook d7, yeah?
Yeah, rook d7. Yeah. And then somehow,
I mean-
takes king f4. No, I thought, okay, this and you have to play knight f7, but I don't know if it's a force win, but even if not force, I mean, h4, h5, g4, probably,
Yeah.
probably force, but even if not force, it's quite bad. So, and here, yeah, it's very nice because I have knight c5, and the idea rook c2, knight e4 is a very nice move.
Yeah, knight d6, rook d7. Yeah, otherwise
Yeah.
knight e4 comes.
Yeah, and yes, the knight this, and somehow I think it's already okay. I thought rook d2 was maybe the last chance somehow. Okay, it's
Okay,
bad.
rook b5. Yeah,
I can
knight
even
d3,
take.
take an
I
f4.
mean, yeah, knight d6, rook a5, rook d4, and now just knight d3.
Knight d3, yeah.
It's just
Like
technical
very-
position. And here, okay, knight d4. Yeah, it's quite nice rook b6 yeah, somehow, and just by tempi it seems that it's.
So it all
it's
works
going.
out for you in the end, yeah.
It seems so. Yeah.
So it seems this e4 is.
Interesting. I mean, I still have a feeling. There was maybe a way for black to defend. I have a feeling, but okay, I don't know.
Okay. That was, I think, very, very extensive. And do you feel you need to add something to this?
Not really, no.
Yeah. So how's your? I mean, I understand after a game like this, it feels like a bit of a wrong question to ask. But what's your first impression?
No, I mean, I misplayed it quite early on, and then I think it's unpleasant. So yeah, it could happen anywhere. There is
Sure. I
not
mean,
that big of a difference, I think, as of yet.
okay.
But we'll see in a couple of days.
Fair enough. And thanks for talking us through that, and good luck with the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
So.
No, but I realized that there's no increment after 6 seconds, yeah?
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, I know that, but simply the...
We're live.
I know, but now...
Yeah.
Okay.
So, our final, I think, press conference of the day, right?
Yeah.
And we seem to have mislaid the world champion who...
We missed him by 1 minute. Well, champions don't wait, so he's on his way back. But so we have to make it painful for Harry, who lost his first game, and now he has to sit here all alone with us. What went wrong? Are we live, by the way? Okay, just checking. In the opening, instead of
I
castles,
think bishop
we were-
b7 probably. Yeah. Okay, I think bishop b7, bishop g2, cd4 castles.
This is some sort of theory.
Yeah, I think this is.
Because we looked at bishop
probably-
f3 immediately, but I missed bishop
Probably
c6.
this is probably the theory. I don't remember. Maybe bishop f4 here and.
Yeah, something like this. I think I've seen this
There
before.
were some games, some
Yeah, there should be some games in this. Yeah, I should play this. And okay, here I think white is much better. And okay, I think this he was considering probably, and I wanted to go queen a5. Okay, after takes, and okay, knight d4. I have d5, and okay, rook c4, rook c5 before rook c4, and knight d2, same rook c2 I have. And okay, if some other move, I just take bishop c4, so I thought it should be okay. And also knight d2 was quite interesting here, because now I go b4, d5, and b4. And after d4, he can just anything, just bad. But okay, he played this, and I thought I somehow managed to pass the worst position, you know. At least I can move a bit.
Yeah.
And
but it's still very unpleasant.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Definitely, it's bad. And okay.
Maybe taking on e3 and playing this endgame, but
but then bishop
h3 is very unpleasant.
Unpleasant, and I didn't know. I mean, if I go knight e7, knight d4, and just
it's not very nice.
And after queen b7, okay, bishop h3. Okay, here he gave me some chance. I thought, I mean, after knight f3, takes. I probably should have taken directly. I was worried about rook b1 and some rook b7, but I should play like this, I think.
No, but we were very surprised you went for this actually, because you could play knight h7. It's not very nice, but
I was afraid of. Where was this?
Yeah, this is here.
Yeah,
h4,
knight h7. I was a bit concerned about a4.
Yeah, this is it's not a nice position, but this probably isn't particularly good for you either, because let's say knight d4. It's very difficult for you to actually create any
I want
threats.
to go queen b8 or queen b6, and
but I think these endgames are kind of bad.
Yeah, probably it's
kind
worse.
of bad for you.
Okay, and take and play f5 and try to hold this position, but okay, of course.
I think the pawns are too weak for this to
and okay,
to actually.
h4 is good, I think.
Yeah, so it was kind of decided in the open.
Yeah, I think it's. I should take.
So maybe
should play bishop b7.
You can actually trace it all the way back to here and to the decision not to enter the principal line. Yeah.
Yes.
So.
I should play bishop b7 and play this line, which was already known.
Fair enough. So a difficult start, but I mean, this is obviously a very strong tournament, and Black against Magnus is perhaps not the easiest start in the world, but it should improve from here on out.
Yes, I hope so.
So thanks for doing this, and hopefully we'll speak to you at a happier occasion later in the tournament.
Sure.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. So,
that was a nice, quick first round. We're gonna make it to dinner. But
that's very important,
We have to tell the players not to resign all at the same time, because it's queuing up. It's not going to work for us. So, 20-minute breaks between resignations. It's not too much to ask.
That was a bit awkward, and we did manage to misplay this press conference a little bit. I feel it's maybe a little bit of my fault, but
everything is your fault. But
stopping Vladimir Kramnik in full flow, explaining and finer point of endgame technique is difficult. And I also actually feel it's very educational to listen to him explain chess positions, because you do learn a lot. But it did result in the last press conference being half of what it could have been.
To torture poor Harry.
Yeah.
But I believe that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Bad news for all you guys out there. The Anish Giri promotion is officially over. He's won a classical chess game, but you should still pursue a premium membership to learn a lot from Peter Svidler about the Grunfeld defense and many other topics. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central European time, is that correct?
That sounds correct, yes.
With round number 2 and the pairings. What are the pairings?
Let's have a look.
I need this machine.
I'll give you this machine. Round 2 will be... crap. Niels Grandelius with white against Levon Aronian, Li Chao white against Vladimir Kramnik, Anish is white again, this time against MVL, Veselin Topalov is white against Magnus Carlsen, and Pavel Ilyanov is white against Pintala Harikrishna.
So Harry is the only one with 2 blacks. Everybody else gets.
That's how it works.
White,
yeah, you
yeah.
generally don't get too many people repeating colors at the same time. And yeah, a bit of a tough start for him, but he'll bounce back. I mean, he's a very, very resilient player, and he should bounce back, I feel.
Yeah, plenty of action to look forward to. Magnus Carlsen wins his game in the first round for the first time in many years, apparently. And let's see if he can keep it going. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks, Peter, for doing all the hard work. See you tomorrow.
See you.